BYOF on the track.
Black David, wake your ass up. Mr.HeSaiD finna cook.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Hope everybody is doing well. Let me get my volume right. Make sure you guys hear me out there. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. I know. That's why I'm sitting in front of the Saturday sign, because it's Sunday. And I'm here. The God. Peace to y'all. Peace to the gods and the earth.
Come and have a good time with G.O.D.
But I wanted to come through and have a conversation with my fellas, with you guys out there in the chat, and anybody else that's going to check us out on the replay. I am one half of He Said, She Said, Love and Abundance. I am Mr.HeSaiD, and this is Sunday. We're going to have a special cerebral conversation with some of my fellas. I'm going to put the link in the chat early. If any of the fellas that are watching or comes in want to come up, feel free. But bring your mature conversation self with you, or we will act accordingly. If you guys didn't see the thumbnail, it said bring your own foundation. It's BYOF today. And we're going to have a great conversation with some great fellas. And I hope you guys are ready. I'm going to bring my brother up from another mother, but near and dear to my heart, his content creation, his organic nature, and his information that he brings, all original, all amazing. And he is an inspiration to, a lot of people, unbeknownst to him. So I want to bring to the stage my guy from Critically Drinking, none other than Arshawn.
Hey, appreciate the intro, man. Shout out to everybody over here. Cerebro Sunday, standing in for the missus, I presume. So, man, much love to you, sir.
Indeed, indeed. She'll be on a little later at 7 o'clock. So just to keep the car warmed up and the engine running, I put the keys in and figured I'd take it around for a spin real quick. And got a conversation that I wanted to have with you and some other fellas that I admire in this space. And if they have time, they're going to pop in. If not, it's all good. You guys just let us know what the deal is in the chat, and we go from there. But today, Arshawn, it was bring your own foundation. I've been listening to a lot of conversations, and ultimately what I got from it and what stuck out to me the most is the lack of confidence, the lack of articulation when it comes to us as men articulating our foundation, what we ascribe to, subscribe to, who we follow, how we form our foundation. And ultimately, it was said to us, if we, propose to be leaders, if we want our women, our wives, our significant others to follow us, who do we follow? What do we ascribe to? How did we build our foundation? And being able to articulate that is very important. What do you think about that, Brother Arshawn?
No, you definitely need to be able to verbalize. And anybody to see me, first of all, let me apologize for not having my camera. I just got tore down my streaming studio. So anybody that's watching, man, forgive me.
Bro,
And I like to cam up when I'm on the road, but my camera is down. Cam down, but being able to articulate your foundation is super important. And everybody that's ever seen me knows I steal a lot from the Bible. I think it's one of the Bible books, like Write the Vision and Make It Plain.
Okay.
Like you need to first have an understanding where you can actually write it down, so you can reflect on it yourself. And then once you're able to reflect on whatever your foundational principles are, your core values, what you would like to stand on, the business that you stand on,
Absolutely.
then you need to be able to verbalize it. I know the Bible also says something about be prepared for an answer. Now they're talking about your faith in Christ, but I say who you are as a man, who you are as a person. Like you need to be able to articulate that to somebody. Now we're going to struggle at times because some parts of ourselves are always going to be unexamined, I guess. But to the best of your ability, be able to say, what you stand for, what you believe in.
Absolutely. I wouldn't disagree with that at all. I got a little bit of information, got a couple of clips to play, but mostly, we're going to be asking questions and getting some awareness today. Who do you follow? What your foundation, Arshawn? Would you like to give us a little bit of information background on it?
Yeah, so I will tell you there are, I would say, 3 primary influences. So for myself, I grew up in the church. So even though I'm not a Christian and I can't see myself ever being a Christian again, I just don't see it in my future. There's a lot of philosophy in the Bible that I hang my hat on. Like when I actually started reading the Bible for myself and I saw how people were supposed to treat each other based upon the Bible, I was like, oh, this ain't what they've been teaching, but I can do this. I can live by these tenets. I can try to treat people with humanity and love. And I can try to, exemplify courage when I need to. You ain't got to be the most brazen person, but you can step forward when the time calls for it. And there's a lot of little things in the Bible I would say for myself, I hang my hat on. Socially, even though I don't spend a lot of time thinking about like pro-black or Afrocentric, I know that the world sees me as black. So I have to have an understanding of what that means. So how I move socially is with the understanding of, okay, people are going to see me as black, and there's going to be a dynamic, a power dynamic, a social dynamic, expectations that all hinge on that. So I had to have like an understanding of that, what that does to a person psychologically. Like, everybody talks about victim Olympics, oppression, and all that. You have to know what that means and what people are expecting from you in any situations, even if it's just so that you can subvert those expectations. You need to know what people are expecting. So, I mean, those are the 2 things I would say my primary things. And then I would say psychology is something I really try to study because understanding how humans behave is super important, because understanding yourself and understanding others all starts in the mind. If it don't mind, your mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter. It's one of those things. So psychology is super important.
Absolutely. The why. It's the why for me. I understand that there's a spectrum that people are gonna act on both sides, but it's the why. Why do we do the things we do? Michael Jackson said it was human nature. Just tell them that it's human nature. So, even he said, why? Because it's the question that we need to ask. What's going on behind the curtain? And, this is why I wanted to have this conversation. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. AR is in the building. Moderation gang in here. Yella's in the building. Brother Vaughn in the building. And Brother Vaughn Eric in the building. If any of you gentlemen want to join the conversation, you can. I put the link in the chat because us being able to articulate our faith, our foundation, where we, get our integrity, value, morals, where these things come from. It's important for us to be able to speak to it, to speak about it, because the confidence in our quote unquote followers would lack because we don't, exude the necessary characteristics and qualities of this quote unquote leader that we're supposed to be. And when I hear gentlemen get asked a specific question and they have no answer for it, but yet want to teach younger men about integrity, about standards, and we have to start from zero. We got to tell them what integrity is. We got to tell them what standards is. Then we got to show them your standards are, Sean, and then we got to show them my standards. And then we do. These people are almost 30 years old, 25, 30, 35, 40. If I go up in numbers, it get worse as I think about it. I got to tell you what morals and integrity and value is when these things are supposed to be clear cut, straightforward. 10 commandments, 12 laws, 7 units. So like I said, I you guys know I ascribe to the 5% nation. I ascribe to the Nation of Islam, and it's where I get my foundation. You guys hear me say peace to the gods in the earths. I say that unapologetically because my foundation comes from mathematics. We have 10 numbers. The first one is knowledge. The second one is wisdom, and the third one is understanding. And it applies to us as people as well. I am knowledge, 1. My wife is wisdom, 2. When we come together, guess what we bring forth? Understanding, which is our children. Knowledge is being smart. Wisdom is being smart for a long time. So when you tell me I'm old, you're disrespecting wisdom. I've been 25. You've never been 50. And understanding is showing and proving that you have that knowledge and that wisdom. Showing and proving, not just saying it, not being able to articulate it. It's mind-boggling to me. So again, we live our life every day by these numbers, and it applies to the dates. The first day of the month is knowledge. Today, the 28th, would be wisdom, build and destroy. And then we build on top of that. But again, consciously, every day we're examining and moving forth with this knowledge and applying it to our everyday life. And when I hear a man be asked, what is his foundation? What do you ascribe to? And again, I'm from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Everybody waved that Bible. I read it. I know what it said. Why are you not regurgitating any of those points? Aren't you supposed to be basic instructions before leaving Earth? Isn't that what it's supposed to be? So we're going to sidestep those instructions and articulate our own parameters. This is where you guys become waffles. It don't even sound concrete. Well, I don't wish any harm on anybody. And, that's not what it say. Specific jargon. What's your foundation? A lot of people not going to click this link, Arshawn, today because they can't articulate their foundation, but they want to click it when we talking about nothing. They don't even be polite. They don't even speak. They just say, drop the link, drop link.
Oh my God.
Like, are you serious? Click the link today. Click the link when we're having meaningful conversations. Some people click your link or ask you to drop the link while they in another chat room, Arshawn.
Yes. Oh.
This shit is unbelievable. And then on the back end talking about integrity and how you gonna teach it to younger men. You gotta be fucking kidding me. That's why I had to turn my camera on. You guys gotta be kidding me. The last 2 weeks, there's been a conversation about should the actions line up with the messenger? Y'all serious? Grown people? So now we can just act any old kind of way and come to social media and say, you know, act right, do right by everybody, don't steal, and then go out and pillage. No. Peace to the God, Ricky, in the building. See what he say when he come in? Peace, God. I know I didn't create the sun, the moon, the stars, heaven. I didn't create none of that, but I do know inside of me there is some power. There is some uniqueness. I got the power to give life and the power to take life. I can say peace, God, but that makes me walk with a better self. That makes me want to put a better foot in front of the other and repeat. It makes me want to be dedicated to my family and devoted to my wife. When y'all waffle motherfuckers can't even articulate what you mean, this is probably why you got the results you got. Shout out to Yellow Pill in the building, my guy. Thank you for saving me from that rant, man. How you doing today, sir?
What's going on? Yeah, I was having the chat. I felt shamed to hit the link. Say y'all ain't gonna hit the link. Well, you know what? I'm gonna hit the link.
Shame. Shame.
Come on, my brother. Nah, you
But
know, Yella, you are one of the most organic people because you say exactly how you feel. I'm not here to save none of y'all ignorant motherfuckers.
nah, it ain't on my to-do list. It definitely ain't.
Exactly. And I mean, it is what it is. And it's exactly, you know, it appears to be that way. Again, when I see people like Sir Hale come here this morning, the word he gave was amazing. People that can articulate how they feel, why they came here, why they doing what they do. I respect that all day. But when you waffle, I can't do it. So, you know, I'm much more in line with you, your vision, your stance, and your organicness, Yella. Please keep being you, sir.
Well, I appreciate it, and the feeling is mutual. And it's funny that you use the word waffling because we got a whole thing. It's like a whole redemption on my channel over on Twitch, and it is called we don't waffle. It's a clip of Gary Coleman. He was having a little argument with somebody, and man, they was like, well, you sound like you waffling, and he was like, hey, I don't waffle. and that's just been, you know what I'm saying, that's been the thing about my channel, just how I feel. Like I can change my views based on new information, but I don't waffle about who I am and who I'm ready to be.
Absolutely. And again, that's what, you know, draws me to you guys' channel, you guys' information, and the way that y'all move. I appreciate it. I said it from day one. That for you guys to move the way you move, it's in a way more mature air than I see 40 and 50-year-olds move. And that's crazy to me, because all we can do is be ourselves. If we trying to play a character, it's gonna be real hard to try to keep up with this character every day.
I definitely agree with that, man. I've seen so many things in this space with people in their 40s and 50s. I know I look younger than I am, and I act more immature than my age. But I've seen some stuff from people in their 50s, 60s, and even again, people my age, man. It is insane what people are willing to put on the internet. It shocks me. And I remember one of my favorite quotes from Mr.HeSaiD. Do people forget that this stuff is recorded? Like, I don't understand. Like, this stuff is recorded. Your kids might see it. Your grandkids might see it. The fellow employees might see it. I mean, because everybody's not an entrepreneur. I'm like, your parishioners, a lot of Christians be out here wilding. Like, other parishioners, like, does nobody have any shame anymore? I was having a debate with Candid Ann a little bit, and I was like, I don't understand how people shame their family members. We were talking about how, like, people will shame their spouses. Like, they'll make a TikTok talking bad about their spouses. And I'm like, I don't understand putting your kids on blast or your spouse on blast, the person that you're sharing a space with every day. Like, not having a conversation with them. You're just shaming them, talking about what they do or don't do. I don't get that. But that's what a lot of people feel like this space is for. I can hear, and I can blast anybody. And it's like, why wouldn't you have those conversations first if you had those people in your space? And I don't know where we are, and that goes back to the foundation that you're talking about. What's our foundation? What are we standing on? Like, is there anything that we're just not okay doing because it's the wrong thing? Do we have any lines that we won't cross? Like, we need to know that stuff.
Ricky chimed in. He said, active intelligence is the ability to change. I realize our people don't want solutions. Shout out to Blaze checking in. Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Sir Hale checking in. Appreciate you, fellas. And again, if any of you fellas want to come through, feel free, because we just going to have a conversation today about our foundation, us as men being able to articulate it. We want people to follow us, but what do we follow? Who do we ascribe to? What do we subscribe to? I put up a list of 10 things a young man should have before transitioning across that threshold from being a boy to being a man. One of those things that I put on the list was know what kind of man you want to be. What are you? What are y'all? Are you a gentleman? Are you a thug? Are you a scavenger, a lowlife, a uppity? Like, what are you? What kind of man are you first? Because I hear a lot of you guys say that you are educated and intelligent and care about pushing forward the community, and in the very next breath, you're ready to catch a flight and go and wrestle with a man you say you don't like.
Uh-oh.
That's crazy to me that you would grab him and roll around on the ground with him and you don't even like him. And are you going to stay mad on the plane through the stewardess and the little kid you sit next to offer you chicken or fish? You going to be mad still through all of that to come to my house to fight me and you don't like me? So again, who are y'all? I've seen astute, one of the most astute guys in this space that is about real estate and about making money. And he said, I got to go back to the thug that I am. I thought I wasn't a thug, but I guess I am. You want to fight? I'm on my way to your house. Meet me over here. Are you serious? What kind of men are we?
It's crazy.
We got to get that down first. Because I tell y'all all the time, I shoot a ball through a hoop. Now, I grew up in Bed-Stuy. That don't mean I ain't had a fight or two, but I am not no thug. My brother did all of that. I am not no gangster, never been to jail, no STIs, no STDs. Like, the shit that you may imagine or want for me, that wasn't me, fam. Polo and shit. That's what backpack, native tongue, conscious, always conscious, and still waving my flag 30 years on consciousness. Some of it comes in the form of shame. That's the emergency room when you need emergency treatment. But we got love and abundance. That's the triage. We got Cerebro. That may be for a referral or something to a specialized physician. But we got a whole hospital running. People only focus on the shame part, though. Only on the emergency room. Because y'all are in trauma. You're in dire need of emergency assistance. I'm sorry that we put it the way we put it. But that's our foundation. You bring us some information that requires us to change and treat you differently, kind of, take your specific situation into consideration. We do that. But other than that, you ain't our children. We ain't got to talk to you like we talk to our children. We talk to our children with consciousness. But, y'all gutter snipes that want to stand on people's cars and twerk at the headlights, y'all get what y'all get. That's our foundation. I got a question for everybody in the chat, on the panel. Situational awareness. We were all in school. We played sports, football, basketball, glee club, debate club. We were able to be aware of situations where we were on the court, certain schematics and nuances of the game. What happened to that? Where'd it go? We lost it when we got grown and we got our families. Now we talk about it every day. People don't have situational awareness. Nobody has emotional intelligence in the situational awareness. But if you had it on the basketball court, fellas, football field, fellas, where'd it go when you got your family, your babies and your wife and stuff? Let's start with you, Yella.
So being that dude who played on the sports team, I know exactly what you're talking about, right? It's like not only knowing where you supposed to be at on the court, but knowing where your other teammate's supposed to be at.
Talk about it.
Right? So if I'm, you know what I'm saying? If I make a pass, it's because I made a pass knowing that he's supposed to be there.
No.
You know what I'm saying? when you watch in football, the quarterback don't throw the ball to the receiver. He throw the ball where he gonna be at.
Yes, indeed.
That's the type of awareness you're talking about. So I understand that. The problem is that at a certain point in life, we stopped playing a team game and we started playing tennis. We started playing golf. You don't need that type of awareness in those sports. You know what I'm saying? You just need to focus on your ball that you hitting. You play the course. You know what I'm saying? You play the court, or you just playing your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we stop really that you learn that type of stuff from having to work with people, having to consider other people's feelings, having to consider other people's perspective, having to consider other people's stances. And it in how can I put in respects to that, I can understand how that becomes a thing because once you become a man, you are kind of on your own.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also how men become successful, is being able to accomplish your goals within the structure of working with the rest of society.
Mm-hmm. That don't
So
sound
that's
from our teams, Yella, because we played football. We had a certain system that we had to
mm-hmm,
in, but we were able to get individual
mm-hmm,
accomplishments and stand out individually by working the system, learning the system, knowing it, and
right.
then using it to your advantage. So I just wish that we transitioned that into our families, because being able to delegate that to our children, being able to articulate it to our women, that can solidify them seeing us as good leaders when we are situationally aware and kind of like that captain on the court. You know what I mean? What you think, Arshawn?
Now, I didn't have the benefits of team sports. So I just had, my friends, family, neighborhood folks. But I would say, honestly, I think we become too intoxicated by the lure of like drama and production. Like you can't even know. I know I talked to Mr.HeSaiD a little bit before the show, and I gave a different answer, but I was thinking while Yella was talking. We honestly don't even know what situations are real anymore. So how could you even be aware of a situation if you can't even identify what the situation is that you're a part of? You don't know who's being fake or phony, who's trying to drum up likes or attention. Now everything is, what do you say, Mr. He said, it depends.
Yes,
Now
it does.
everything is it depends.
Yes, it
Because
does.
there's nothing for certain. Every time somebody's arguing, it could be for clout. Every time somebody walks up want to slap somebody, it might be to defend their wife. It might be for clout. It might be this. We don't even know. So we used to have like drills. People used to run drills like in real life, fire drills, tornado drills, family safety drills. We don't even know what kind of situations we're going to be in. Like they're doing school shooter drills now, so that you can have situational awareness. Like we got to run drills. We got to run drills for stuff. But what stuff do we prepare for? Because now most of the stuff, the situations that we find ourselves in are manufactured. So I mean, how do you be aware of that?
It's a great question. Great question. If anybody in the chat can answer that, feel free. Yella, you want to jump on it?
Man, that was a hell of a question because I'm sure sitting here like
It was.
it's the if you look at like the space and the conversations that we talking about, these ain't even like they're real, but they're not even real situations. Like when he was talking about that, I kind of thought about like the Simone Biles thing. That's not even a real thing. It's a thing that got made into a thing that came from nothing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's most of the conversations. Hell, we sitting here more mad because the lady that lied about getting hit in the face with a brick. That's a nothing story. You know what I'm saying? We can't have situational awareness in situations that ain't real.
That's a good ass point.
Dr. Nakumbe.
Doc, you came at the perfect time, sir.
Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, gentlemen, and thank you for the chance to share this space with you. And hello to those in the chat. I'm actually just replaying a little bit here to catch up on the convo, so I haven't heard the last few questions, heard the last few responses. But I'll catch up and then be able to respond.
Okay, nah, take your time. Take your time. I'm gonna get to a couple of chats because I see a couple of good ones here. There's strength in numbers, especially for us men. We're not going to see eye to eye on everything, but that doesn't mean we need to be enemies. We can still coexist in peace and work together. Okay. Damn right, Blaze. Appreciate you, brother, on the check-in. Examples of real life that haven't even happened. That was a great point, Arshawn. It definitely clicked something in my head because, like you said, a lot of these situations are fabrication.
Yeah.
So that puts
And I would even say, Mr.HeSaiD, in our real lives, forget the internet stuff. I know we talk about the internet stuff.
Right.
Most of the drama that happens in the people that we know's lives is manufactured too. Like out of their need for drama, out of their need for some tension, out of their need for some kind of conflict. It's not real. Like they're just making it up and they'll draw us into it. So I don't even know how to be aware of when somebody's losing their mind because they're bored or because they just need some tension. Like it's a weird world we live in now.
Okay. I played a couple of videos yesterday. I'm gonna replay them again for you guys today. I want to hear what you guys think about this mindset right here.
It's gonna be hard to get over on a nigga like us. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be that simple. And you could be genuine. I tell a lot of people this all the time. When I meet you, you're down 30. You may have done nothing wrong to me. You have to work your way to zero for me to even put you above zero. You are a negative 30 when I meet you. I don't trust you. I don't believe you. I don't think what you're saying is true. And it may all be true, but you have to work to gain my trust from down 30 to get to zero, to get back up to maybe 100 one day, if it ever.
What you guys think about that mindset? Yellow, let's start with you, man.
For like self-preservation, I completely understand it, right? Because it's hard to immediately give out that trust. I unfortunately move a little bit differently, right? I don't have no reason to distrust anybody because I don't know you.
Okay.
So I kind of give you the leeway. Like how can I put it? I don't distrust you. I kind of let you show me who you are, right? That's kind of that might be a position of, well, I got a lot of stuff people want. I'm gonna be real. I don't have a lot of shit people want. So you know what I'm saying? I ain't too worried about people trying to use me for stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I also do understand that I got to protect myself from becoming too comfortable with somebody too soon, too early. So that's actually something that that I struggle with balancing. It's probably never going to be fixed because I'm just that type of person where I'm not going to distrust you because I don't fear anybody.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That also comes from a place of fear. Well, I don't trust nobody because I ain't really scared of nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because whatever's gonna happen.
Got you.
But it can kind of hinder getting to know somebody because when you're moving like that, if you down 30 with something, I can understand zero. Like I got what he was saying, I can understand starting at zero. Okay. But if you down 30 with somebody, that person treats you like, if you got somebody that's down 30 and they building up, you might treat them a different type of way. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be the person that's acting distrusting, like, because that you can also tell that as the person on the other side trying to gain somebody trust. Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? I ain't lying. I ain't BSing. But every time I talk to him, it's like, you don't believe me. You ain't trying to hear where I'm coming from. Well, that's going to be a barrier between us getting to know each other too.
Absolutely. Ricky said, we look at each other with skepticism of past experiences. What do you think, Dr. Nakumbe? What do you think about that Cameron statement? I know we looked at it yesterday together, but what do you think about it today? Maybe you slept on it and got some new information.
And actually, let me say hello to Yella and Sean. Good afternoon, brothers. Good to be up here with you.
Hey, Doc.
I trust in degrees. And so it's somewhat what he said. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as 30, but I go off of proof and evidence.
Okay.
So I think right at the start, everyone starts with a kind of a baseline of trust and respect. But I also consider each person understands the definition of respect differently. And I think people understand the definition of trust differently. What I might allow and believe is something trustworthy, the other person may not. And then I have kind of this, I call it a curse as much as a blessing, that because I study human behavior, I can analyze everything and get all in my head and start thinking and thinking and thinking and overthink. So I think because of that, no pun intended, I think of that. I have to start just at a baseline of what I consider to be trustworthy. And for those who are even in my circle, I mean, you have to even get in my circle, I have to have noticed behaviors, intention, character, personality, how people keep their word. So that's how I see it. And I agree, for someone to start with -30, it sounds like there's been some experiences or some major prevention going on. And I hope one day you can actually get over that.
Dang. Shit, Cameron.
Okay.
The doc is praying for you. You got to pray for me too, then, Doc, because based on hearing what he said and looking at January 28th, 2024, you down 50 with me.
Ooh.
It's people are not organic. People are not empathetic, sympathetic, remorseful. We've been talking for a little bit. I heard people are very grandiose and self-absorbed and self-proclamating. Why would I start them at 0? You lying. You ain't as nice as you say you are. You ain't as unique as you say you are. I don't hang out with girls because you're lying. Everybody ain't getting the money they say they getting because only 1% of people getting money. They lying. They ain't got no relationships. The longest relationship they got is with DoorDash.
Ooh.
You ain't starting at 0. They don't keep no relationships, not with their significant others, not with any higher ups of authority. Even their caseworkers, they done switched.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it, Doc.
That makes sense.
I don't believe nothing you say. Prove it. Again, people can't even articulate the God they believe in, the foundation they stand on. They can't even say it. Some people I haven't seen their face in 3 years, and they think I'm going to listen to them. Oh, you think you really God, huh? Mm-hmm. I ain't never seen you, and you think I'm going to walk around remembering what you said in my head. That's what God, he occupies that space, not you. I never even seen you before. I don't know if you got warts. If you could look like Job. Didn't Job have all type of stuff happen to him?
Yeah, he got stricken.
I never seen you. You telling me all this good word, and I don't even know what you look like. Yeah, pause. I'm not even going for it. Again, they hung up on the words that we use, and please, man, I never even seen you before. So, Sean, what do you think? Down 30, too much?
Ooh, see,
where you at?
I disagree with you just a little bit, Mr.HeSaiD, but let me tell you why. Okay. So it's hard to stick around anybody if you're starting off operating from a deficit. Like, that's a hard ask to somebody that doesn't know you and you don't know them. Now, that's where Yellow likes this phrase I heard from this one doctor. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. I know it's a common phrase, but at some point, the juice ain't worth the squeeze, because I'm operating from a deficit just to get to 0, just to get to a nobody. I got to put in work. And again, it's like he said, to 100 is the top end. So I got to put up a third of what it would take to get to 100 just to get to a nobody with you. That's a lot. Now, anybody that's willing to dig themselves out of that kind of hole, it's, in my mind, is one of two things. Either one, that's a real predator, because they're willing to pour resources into you just to find out something at the end. Or it's somebody that doesn't value anything of themselves, and they'll just pour and pour and pour and pour and pour. Because anybody that values themselves, in my mind, I wouldn't even ask anybody to give 30% just to get to a nobody to me, just to get to nothing. That's unfair. That's almost cruel and inhumane. And anybody that's willing to endure that, they're after something. And then that's when you got to ask yourself the next question, which is my favorite. Is that person after something that I'm willing to give? Because that's the real trick. Because we're all willing to be used, but are we willing to be used for what they want to use us for? And that's what we got to find out.
That was a great point. That was a great point. I started to think about me and the missus. She was operating from a deficit. I was operating from a deficit. Again, we were both, New Yorkers. So we kind of look at everybody with this, you got to prove it. So, being an organic person, a sincere person, and ascribing to the foundation that I stand on is what, lured her attraction, and vice versa. Seeing the foundation she stand on attracted me to her. And again, I was operating from a deficit, but every day I was racking points on the board. And it felt good. It wasn't something that, felt like a battle, felt like you said, this, emotional vampire that I just have to pour into, and she's just sucking, the life out of me. But with that reciprocation, with that consciousness, I think that's what kind of got us to where we are today, because we kind of approached each other with the respect that we deserve as potential mates. Like, you deserve for me to talk to you in a certain way and treat you a certain way and even act a certain way when I'm not around you, because I'm a reflection of you. And I think that skepticism, you got to prove yourself to me. You got to show me that you're this amazing person you say you are. And, I'll see if the proof is in the pudding. I think that's kind of, how I took it. Maybe the wording is a little harsh and the point percentage may be a little steep. But yeah, you guys made some great points that it's definitely some back and forth, and it may be some ulterior motives if someone is willing to present that as, a prerequisite, or accept that as, a term of friendship or something different. Go ahead, Doc. I'm sorry for being so long-winded.
Oh no, I didn't mean to interrupt. I question what is the trust part? See, I need to trust that you'll be there for me. So I need loyalty. So pending the type of friendship, is it that I automatically start with this negative, or when it comes to loyalty, no matter what role you're in or what position you're in my life, I'm really needing and expecting X, Y, and Z. Now, that expectation part, I think, ties into what Arshawn is saying. How much am I wanting people to chase or to dig or to prove? And then for this guy talking about negative 30, first of all, if someone gets that much chase just to get to 0 to be a nobody, to get to 100 to be nobody, then I wonder what's in it for them. Like, do they even have any standards? Like, what's in it for them? Right. So that's what I wanted to ask.
No, it's a great point. I mean, I see some opportunistic moves in there, like Arshawn said. Yellow, what you think about what we just said, man? We way off or what?
No, it's like I said, it's really like a paradox, right? Because to Mr.HeSaiD's point, there's a level of loyalty gained when you get a certain level of trust with that type of person. You know what I'm saying? So, for as untrustworthy as as untrusting as Cam might sound, from hearing how he talk and how he approaches friendships and people that he respect, once you do gain that respect, it's all out loyalty. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I can understand what Mr.HeSaiD coming from, because if you are able to build from that deficit with him and get to a certain point, he could become damn near your best asset in life. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I look at it too. I don't look at it as, I don't really start from the deficit, but I understand that importance of gaining trust over time.
I wanna share a video with you guys. Should I do that now? Nah, I don't want to do that now. I want to ask you guys a question. I want to share a screen while I set this screen up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, while you're digging that up, let me ask the brothers: does it matter the type of relationship? I mean, I know trust is trust, but would it matter Would the number be even greater if it's like a romantic relationship? Someone's going to share your bed with you, your heart, your wallet with you. Does that make a difference?
Man, for me, I think it's all about an exchange of energy. So the type of energy is going to change the type of energy exchange that you're looking for, but it's going to be the same. So I would say like if you start a new job, like a working class job, you start in the hole. You start at a deficit. You know, you're gonna be working for free in your mind. In your mind, you ain't getting paid for about 2-3 weeks.
3 weeks.
That's gonna feel like some free labor. You 30 points down. And you know by that right by payday, man, the pockets is a little tight if you ain't one of them savers. So it's
Yes,
like it's understandable to start at a deficit with somebody because they don't know you. But an extreme deficit is crazy. Now, if they say we're not gonna pay you for 6 months, how do you know they're actually going to do it by the end of the 6 months? How much time are you willing to invest without getting any gain back on your side? That's why I think everything is kind of like that employment. I'm willing to lose a little bit, but eventually you got to start paying back into me. And it's before I reach a critical deficit. It's before I'm tapping into resources that I can't afford to lose. And I think that goes into any relationship, friendship, employment, love, family. Everybody's got to be able to pour back into you in a way that you value, that feeds you before you reach a critical deficit, whatever that is.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay. Absolutely. Oh man, Ricky, shout out to you and the missus. She is making him brunch. And I'm just gonna guess, but I'm pretty sure she ain't making him no damn noodles.
Boys don't eat that.
Why?
Boys don't eat. I don't eat noodles. I'm a grown man.
Goddamn right. Ricky checked in. It seems that most people are good, but have bad habits built upon rearing or traumas. Me and my wife had to break old habits that we had in our behavior from the past. Absolutely. Absolutely. It all circles back to your individual foundation. Who are you? What you want? What are you willing to do to get what you want? What will you tolerate?
Okay.
Trust versus fear. Would you guys rather be feared or respected? Sean, you first.
Hey man, I just watched this episode of Power, and I gotta respond like Kane and young Kane said. You know what? They kind of the same. Because I don't respect nobody. I don't nobody out here some kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, Sean. Let's go.
But I mean, but the truth be told is, I feel like respect is a form of fear. Like maybe not fear like a bodily harm, but I fear the loss of that relationship. Like there's some sort of I value this enough that if I lost it, it would mean something to me. It would hurt to lose whatever this is. So I know it's not exactly the same because I think that admiration is also a form of respect that doesn't require any fear at all. But I do feel like there's a flip side of the coin, even to the admiration. That bag, if I lost it, it would hurt. So I may not be actively fearing the loss of it, but if I did, because I admire it so much, it would hurt. You know what I'm saying? So,
indeed.
But I typically would have answered if I hadn't heard that just today, I would have just said respect. I would have just said respect. I don't want to rule by fear because you got to keep that up. Fear has to be maintained.
No doubt. Shout out to 50.
I told you, I knew your dad for a long time. He did that shit. He guilty as fuck.
Yellis, on you. Would you rather be feared or respected?
So I'm not gonna quote Power, but I'm definitely gonna quote a Bronx Tale. It's always better to be feared. It's always better to be feared than love. Respect, love is fleeting. Fear stays. Fear lingers. Fear is always ever present.
I heard that. Respected, understood.
Ditto. Yeah.
I can respect you and not fear you. Okay. Respect and fear can be used interchangeably. Respect has an element of reverence.
Hey, Mr.HeSaiD, can I point out something before we go too far into this one?
Oh, please, sir.
Blaze McCrory had put something back in the chat a while back. I want to say at 152. I'm not sure if you see the times on them. But he said, going back to the 30, the 30 down, the 30 deficit, he said it all circles back to your individual foundation. Who are you? What do you want? What are you willing to do to get what you want? What will you tolerate? Like, and I feel like I wanted to say before I know we moved on a little bit, but the whole gender war, I feel like the gender war is that 30% deficit conversation. Like everybody feels like the other side of it is asking them to come from a 30-point deficit. Like starting out, like game, it's the first quarter, the clock still got, basketball is it 15 minutes per quarter. Tip off ain't even happened yet. And you talking about I'm 30 points down. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what in their mind, everybody's feeling that kind of energy.
Damn. Why'd you say that, Sean? Because now me and Yella got to jump in this conversation. Yella, what happens when the other team don't show up and the game starts?
Hey, shit, the game started. Goddamn, you forfeit. Yeah.
But in some tournaments, Sean, they start putting points on the clock as the first quarter goes. Give the team some time, and the score could be 14-0 when the team finally they close on and start playing. So you could be starting from 15 to 30 down, but it's because you didn't show up. And like you said, speaking to relationships, we not showing up. If we can't even articulate our foundation, what we stand on, who we pray to, who our God is, why we move the way we move, why we fast when we fast, we ain't even showing up to the game. We should be down 30.
Dang.
You about to forfeit. When you gonna show up, God?
Yeah.
Like put some shorts on, put some sneakers on, and let's get ready to get busy. But we not even showing up. We can't. About a month ago, I saw a moderator ask the fellas to just break the ice. They put a lady on the screen, like Florida is right there, and said, all right, let's go. Let's put y'all up there. Tell her a joke, break the ice, act like y'all just meeting. And it was so much pushback. Oh man, I don't do that. One guy had the nerve to say, this shit stuck out to me. I don't holler at girls. What I do is I reach across them, and my cologne is so good. And I say, could you hand me that napkin right there? And then that's it. That's all they need. I say, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Grown men, kudos to his je ne sais quoi. But being able to break the ice, being able to tell a joke, being able to, say something nice to a young lady if you put on the spot or in the position to, and we give pushback, resistance, all the reasons why we can't do it, and wonder why we can't lead a household of people. We can't even improv. It don't happen always the way it was written in the script. Sometimes we're gonna have to improv, deviate off that, and make some things happen. And again, when I see pushback on things like that, on being able to articulate your foundation, being able to break the ice with a young lady, a potential mate, and they can't do it, you down 30. And I agree with y'all now after having this conversation that it's really insensitive. The 30 points down to work your way up to somebody is a little insensitive. My 50 points is starting to be a little even more insensitive in hindsight.
It's extreme.
Yes, damn.
Well, let me jump in this game.
Please, Doc.
You over here and you over here. When's the last time y'all even had that conversation about how to approach a lady? Shit. Where I'm from, we just walk up. So you've never even known what it is to be appropriate. Nope, step aside. You've never even known what it is, and you've never known. Let them motherfuckers get those 30 points. We're gonna get focused first. Tie your shoes. What the hell you even got on? Put your shit on right. Do you even know how? What are you doing? Let's get it together first. They may be up 30 by the time you get in the game, but when you get in the game, you will be so sharp. You will be so put together. You will be aware. You'll be knowledgeable. You won't look stupid. You won't be reckless. You'll be educated. And if nothing else, you'll have integrity and standards. And even if you lose the game, it will be a moral victory. So yes, some people should know, but the reality is there's a good number of people that's flying by the seat, just going, living life every day, and they ain't studied shit, let alone themselves.
Hey, look, y'all. I raised the GOAT the other day. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. All
God
right,
damn.
I raised the goat. You feel what I'm saying? That just that now I'm for real. Like hearing that, like that's disheartening, man. Like the fellas can't even come up with a good, even if it's corny.
They can't. No, they can't.
Even if it's corny,
Mm-mm.
like man, yeah, that's why I be
First of all,
looking at the fella sideways, man.
y'all ain't about to
Yeah.
sit here and shame me like this to my face. Even though I ain't showing my face, I ain't about to shame me to my face. It's a real session out here, and all of us ain't got it. All right, all of us ain't got it. Y'all ain't got the answer, Sway.
Damn. Oh, Sean telling us the truth, man.
Don't get mad at me, nigga. I'm here telling the truth. If somebody else should have told you this.
Damn. You guys see the screen that I'm sharing with y'all? It has a picture of Florida Evans up there. Let's hear it for Florida. There's a picture of the Caprini Green Project houses, and there's also a picture of Florida. It says the show villain and the actual villain. I want to tell you guys why I am showing you this. Florida Evans told Michael Jesus wasn't black. She caped for George Washington. She kicked JJ out the house for paying the rent with money he got from betting on a horse race. She turned down $5,000 to do a tonic commercial. She told James not to tour with Reverend Sam. She made James turn in $27,000 in money he found in a trash bag on the street. She turned down cousin Raymond's offer to move the family into a condo overlooking Lakeview Drive. She made James turn down a job offer because she didn't want to be alone. And finally, she moved to Arizona with her new husband and left her children to rot in the ghetto for a whole year. What do you guys think about that?
Man, I saw that a while ago. I've been telling folks that Florida Evans was possibly the worst TV mom ever.
God,
Ever. She was trash, bro. Trash.
Yeah, that's a hot mess. I'm gonna tell you, that's one of my. I would say I don't even want to call it a flaw, but I had to learn to accept the society I was in. So I tell people I'm morally ambiguous.
Okay.
Because what it is, some people like that. They'll get what is like the Bible, like people in church say, you get so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good.
Okay.
Like you still have to live right here. Like you still need some practical things done. And some people get so high in their ethics and ideals and morals that aren't even actually lived by the people that teach you those morals. So they'll for the sake of principle with an L.I.A, they'll sacrifice principle with the A.L, which is in a capitalist society, you really need the one with the A.L a little bit more than the one with the L.E. But again, it's you want those principles with the L.E too, but that's something that you really need to that's part of the foundation. What are your standards and how far are you willing to go to get what you need and what you want?
Indeed. Well, Doc, it's on you now. Doc, would you like to give the people a little bit of background on your foundation, where you form your morals, your values? Where does that come from? What do you ascribe to, sir?
Let's see. Well, good question. Mine's a mixed bag where it developed from, because we're talking about a mom who was ruthless, but shoot, I can't thank her enough nowadays. I mean, I am who I am because of that treatment. The people who put their boot in my tail to not give up on me and protect me. I mean, I was mad at them. Like, you doubted me. I can do, but now I'm in position to really do. Some of them are long gone, and I feel like they put me in position to keep their message going. So my foundation is built on a few different platforms, and the one that was kind of throughout them all would be, or consistent throughout them all, was know thyself, educate yourself, and education is power, and then know knowledge is power. So I think that's been the consistent theme between all of them. It changes though when you're doing it for others. Like all that stuff, that my foundations and values and core beliefs, I try to instill that in my kids, and it's like, it landed differently. It landed differently. It's almost like a doctor. You know, they could do medical doctor. They could perform all kind of miracles, but yet some of them can't even do CPR on the person. And it's like, how could you not do something as basic as CPR? But because they don't practice that always. So my thing is, well, my foundation got real shaky because I wasn't practicing, I wasn't adhering to, I wasn't believing, I wasn't staying committed to the commitment. And so with that being said, there are things that Mrs. Evans said that I'm like, yep, that was in trying to preserve her family, teach them something, let them know that it's not easy, it takes hard work, sacrifice. Now, was there balance? You know, her husband, was he there saying, come on, give the little Negro a chance? So if there was no balance and just one-sided, it can get to the point where it's a disservice, a miseducation. But if there's balance involved, I would say, man, I'm actually thankful that she said no to some of those things, hopefully with the greater good being later in the future when they're able to really appreciate it.
Okay. I want to give a shout out to what you just said about CPR. I want to go into that in a second. So Doc, I understand you like what you and Arshawn are saying. It's definitely a consideration that needs to happen to both sides of why these things happened, specifically in regards to good times. But she ascribed to Christianity. And that's why I asked you, like, what's your foundation? Like, who's your most high? Is it, you know, Jesus or Muhammad or something different? Because for most people, that's where we get our values, our morals, you know, this moral compass that we have that guides us, you know, not to kill, not to rob and steal. When we look at ourselves in the mirror, we sleep at night, we can kind of, you know, be happy with what we see in return. Before you answer that, I want to give a shout out to what you said about CPR, because we have friends that used to live here in Maryland with us, and they moved to North Carolina. Shout out to my guy, Beautiful Oil, and his missus, Sister Gina. We love y'all. Ventured off to North Carolina to continue their family. He had an episode the other day. He gave her CPR until the paramedics came, and they are both so grateful of him having the knowledge and remaining calm, being able to perform that on the woman that he loves until the paramedics came. So we encourage everybody to take a CPR class, look at your city's, you know, itinerary and places that may offer it for free. But even if you have to pay for it, it's worth every penny. Remain calm, send somebody for help, call 911, and, you know, start those compressions. It may save a life. Shout out to my guy, Beautiful. Shout out to Sister Gina. And shout out to him for having that knowledge and remaining calm to do that for his wife. And to see the way she looked at him on his birthday, knowing that it's possible she might not even have been here. I'm, you know, getting a little emotional over here. If I was a crier, I probably would cry right now. But since I'm not, unfortunately, you won't see that. But Doc, what I said about your faith, what do you ascribe to? Who is your most high, sir?
Okay, now that. The short story that goes with it. To this day, to be transparent, to this day, I have a physical bed in my house, but I sleep on the floor. Okay. To this day, 50 years old.
Thank you for
and sharing. I say that to say, many days when I hoped to go to bed and my mom just busts in the room at 2 a.m. and scared the crap out of me. And she's on her drug high and doing whatever. I used to actually get under the bed and pray. Under the bed and pray. I have friends and exes who told me, you know, in the middle of the night, you just got up and just like got on your knees on the side of the bed. And, what? No, I didn't. You know, you just got up in the middle of the night, just got on the floor. What? And the reason I say that is because for the longest, I used to pray that God, and I used to go to this thing. I have no idea what it was in the Bronx. It was like a Boys and Girls Club, but they'd give out lunch bag of applesauce and all that stuff, brown bag. And I used to go there and they had the big picture of Jesus up on the wall. And every day before I left, I said, I hope you hear me tonight. And I would try and pray at different times of the day. Maybe my nighttime is not as nighttime. But when my mom continued, I said, oh, I am done. No need to tell me about this Jesus anymore. Then I went to a foster home. They were Baptists and they were singing them songs. And I was having a good time singing the songs. Singing songs. I had a good time singing songs, but nothing. There were some brothers who started to teach me Islam. When I was a teenager, they started teaching me Islam and 5%, and then they would Sunni, going to the mosque and saying prayer. And that was the first time that I really heard like stuff related to being a man. I mean, there's stuff about being a man in Christianity that I heard, but this is the first time I heard about being a black man and having principles and core beliefs and a way of living, more than just the way Jesus would have done it, because I couldn't find any pages, and I got one of those thick books too. I couldn't find any pages that talked about when he was a kid or even a teenager, because that's what I want to know. Like, well, and I couldn't find no pages about this man being married. I was supposed to follow all these rules about marriage, and I couldn't find a page. And to be honest, at that time, I couldn't even find a page where he said he was the Son of God. And I'm not saying that for argument or debate. I'm just telling you what I couldn't find. There's some scriptures in red where he says, if you say so, and if you say I am. So after all this stuff, I started believing less and less and less. And then when I started learning psychology, I thought, shoot, man, these people, it's just a repeat of history. History repeats itself. How do I know that person who was a nomad, going from home to home to home, helping people out, washing their feet, male or female, not asking for money, roaming around, healing people? Yeah, sometimes I think I'm Jesus. And I don't mean that in a sarcastic way or funny way or religious way. I just mean like, well, we do the same thing. That being said, it wasn't until I realized that I had to find a source outside of myself, greater than myself, to start really digging deep. It had to be a source out greater than myself. That came through, again, Islam. I started listening to Farrakhan. But then Farrakhan started saying some things. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I agree. But, you know, I was Mr. Nicey Nice in the middle of a Nicey Nice. And I'm like, ooh, that goes against that person. That goes against that person. And it wasn't until I took a side or had my own standards or own values that I realized, why am I worried about these people when this man's trying to teach me? So then I just said, I want to be spiritual. I started practicing with Buddhists. I started learning the different religions to see what I could take away from religion, the institution of religion. And then I started creating my own kind of, here's my spirituality. Here's where my self-discovery is about. Here's my connection. Here's where I reflect and what I want to practice. These are the values and ethics that I have. And this is the way I show empathy and the way I believe in compassion. So right now, my foundation is about me as a man, me as a black man, having belief. I do believe in Jesus. I do believe there's a God. I say I'm still in discovery mode of how all that works. And that's what I'll land on.
Appreciate you. Thank you for sharing, Doc. We appreciate that. B9 is in the building. What's good, my brother?
B Nizzle.
I hope everybody is doing well. Hit the like, subscribe, share button, tell a friend, share this with a fella that you may think may be interested in this conversation. I got the link pinned in the chat and I'm dropping it periodically. If you fellas want to come up and share, again, I just want to give the people a little bit of a insight, a little bit of, you know, a vision on men that can articulate their foundation, articulate their purpose, articulate, you know, the things that we go through and experiences that we have as men. Because I had a show last week. It was called Love Yourself, Black Man, because they hate you. And, you know, it was a statement to bring people in, of course. but it was a little bit of validity in there. In these days and times, from the ladies that want men to be homeless in another country where we really have to struggle, they don't differentiate between white men or black men. We're just men. When young ladies come into the chat and scream patriarchy, patriarchy, they don't consider that we didn't put those rules in place. We were just as much a subject to that patriarchy as you. But being a man, we get labeled as men. So, fellas, love yourself, particularly black men, love yourself. Fellas, I want to know what y'all think about that statement, what I just said in this clip I'm about to play.
Black men, I'm going to say it from me to you. This is just straight up. Black women, 80% of them, they don't like you. 80%, I'm probably sure it's more. But at least 80% of black women in this day and age, it don't matter how old or young they are, they have a general dislike and hatred for you. That's your real climate, brother. See, I'm not telling you something that you ain't already felt. I'm telling you something that you know. I think it's more too. I truly think it's more too. I think it's more too. And I'm tired of being the one that's not talking about it. I've said this. This is one of the main reasons I don't have a lot of black female friends. I really don't, y'all. I don't. I couldn't imagine what it would be like as a black man. It's an abundance of you that think that all men are dogs, but we all know it means black men. The undertone of all relationship conversations is black men ain't shit. Why these black men ain't doing this? I can't bond with y'all, sis. I cannot bond with y'all when you have a general dislike and vitriol and hatred for our male counterpart. Do you not understand how goddamn psychotic that is?
Who want to start?
My boss say I will. Then I'll go.
Nice.
Put me in,
Come
coach.
on.
Put me in, coach.
You ain't coach. You ain't Sean.
Yeah, I tell you, it's a real thing. But here's why I go for understanding, and I don't want to assign blame. Now I feel it emotionally. I want to put the blame on the person that's doing it. But I know I have, like, on my channel. I've told people, and I had to admit it, so maybe other people could admit it too. I'm a misogynist. I'm misandrist. I'm homophobic. I'm racist. I was born and raised here in the United States of America. There's no way I could come up absent the programming that comes from this country. It's in the media. It's in the cultures. It's down into the subcultures. It's in the educational system. Where could I go to get away from things that are anti-black, that are misogynist, that put women in the second class? Where could I get away from that in this country? Except like really small groups and pockets of people. So I don't, when I'm thinking about it, not when I'm feeling about it, but when I'm thinking about it, I don't blame black women for the condition that they found themselves in. Now, emotionally, I do, because I'm like, how could you know? We're in the same country. Everybody talks about white supremacy. You talking about patriarchy. How could you not think that it's worse for us under a patriarchy where we're not the beneficiaries of it? So do y'all want to keep saying, again, this is my emotions. Y'all keep saying intersectionality. We're both black and we're women. We get a double X. We get a double ding. Well, guess what, Goofy? I'm a black man, so I get the black, but my masculinity is a hindrance in a white patriarchy. So that's a bigger ding than your black femininity. So you think you're intersectional? I'm intersectional too, because there's nothing worse in a white masculine patriarchy than a black man. You're the biggest threat to that, like just energetically. So how could you ever think that you have it twice as bad as me because you have 2 check marks? I've got basically 3, because I'm a bigger threat as a man than you are as a woman. So like that's what my emotions get into. But my mind understands, like, okay, you got the same programming as me. You hate black people too. You see a squad of black people, you get nervous too. You want to lock your doors just like the white people do too. You want to cross the street too, because that's what you've been taught to do. Because that's what they do to you. They've shown you through how they treat you, how you should treat other black people. You should be leery of them. You shouldn't trust them. You follow them around the store. You've been conditioned by how you've been treated, how to treat a black person. There's no way you could then come to a black relationship and be whole and be sound and be ready for love. How could you possibly, when you've been shown how to be disrespected, you've been shown how to be devalued, you've been shown how to be skeptical and leery of, you've been shown that you're not trustworthy, you've been shown that you're a criminal, you're inherently criminal, you're inherently inferior, you're dumb, you can't get yourself out of the hood, you're this, you're that. You've been taught that, you've been shown that, it's been demonstrated to you. They use stats to prove it to you. They put it on every program that you watch, in whether it's entertainment or whether it's news. So whether it's fact or fiction, you're getting the same messaging. How could you as a woman or a man come to a relationship thinking you're ready for love? Because you've only been taught to hate everything that looks like you. So unless your family, and this is a miracle if you have it, unless your family has an intense anti-counter programming, because it has to be equal, because energy is real. So like that deficit thing, you're starting at a negative 100 in this country about loving black people. So if your family can't give you 100% love, you can't even get to 0. The people that you're around and growing up, they have to get you just to 0 so you could possibly start to learn to love black people, because they've got to get you out of hating and fearing black people first. And only your family can do that, because they're around you most of the time, which is why the black teachers are so important. And we need to see more black male teachers, because people need to be exposed to black males that are safe. It can't be always black women and hearing that black men are unsafe. It can't be that. Because if it doesn't matter if everybody's always around black women, but they're always hearing that black men are unsafe. How do you learn to love black men? So the programming has to be equal enough to get out of a deficit. And the deficit is always going to be at 100% in this country. And just to get to 0, to be on a base level, like I need to discover what a black man is. You got to have somebody to put 100% love of a black man into you. And that's crazy. That's asking a lot. So I mentally, when I think about it, I understand why black women are where they are and how they feel about us. But it doesn't make me feel any better. You feel me? So.
Absolutely. Well said.
This is a work of art.
Well said, sir. Well said. Yella, Doc, which one of you guys want to follow that up?
So when I completely understand where Rashawn coming from, because there's an understanding of where black women's disposition is, having been around them in a family capacity, just in a friendship capacity, and even in a dating capacity, right? But that's also why I have checked out of those conversations with them, because no level of understanding is going to get them past that point, because there's a layer of them going through it, and then there's a layer of them wanting to stay there in it. And if you want to stay there in that and hold on to it because you feel like that gives you a certain sense of, well, I went through worse, or that's where it tends to go with me, because a lot of the hate for black men is just because they feel like they had it worse than us. It's not even genuinely from black men doing nothing to them. It's the need to feel like the one who's getting the short end of the stick. And if we're there and we're also on that same level, then they can't get the empathy. They can't get the sympathy. They can't get all the resources. They can't get all the love, because it would need to be spread out between the people who need it. So like I get the understanding, but I've refrained from having as much empathy as I used to, being in these spaces, having these conversations with black women or black women identifying people. and just realize that it's basically a crutch that they use to be the one who can complain. So, I mean, please hate me. It would make my life a lot easier. One less person I got to deal with. And it's I'm thankful because they exposed their crazy early on, as opposed to women you dating who kind of reveal their crazy later on down the line. So that, hey, look, hate me because my patience of trying to get you to not hate that's that deficit we was talking about. It ain't worth the squeeze to try to convince them not to hate us because they want to. It's not even a conditioning now. Is they want to. So hey, look, that's how you want to live your life. Can live your life. Hey.
Steady making that paper. Live your life. Okay, Doc, it's on you, sir.
Oh man, well, a little bit of everything of what the two just said, but or end, you know, coming from a crack fiend mama, and then me taking blame for me and my sisters being separated for over 40 years because my mom said what happens at home stays at home. You don't tell those white people nothing. And I ended up telling them white people, and we got taken away, split up. So forever, I had hostility towards women. I was angry towards women. And whenever I have those conversations about how a sister this and a sister that, I say two things. One, I apologize to myself and I apologize to you. And I have contributed to the chaos because if we both come from the same root, so we both came from slavery, we both came from whatever BS we're dealing with, the programming here, and I added to a layer of that because of my hostility towards women, and I've taken it out on you sisters. Yes, I have. In addition to that, I never signed up. Like, in fact, this relationship, like if it's a romantic one or however I'm connected to that person, this was by design. Like, we wouldn't be friends, we wouldn't be family, we wouldn't be a couple. This was intentional. The programming was not. I never signed up for any of it. When I was born, there wasn't an option. Do you want to go the patriotic route? You want the green pill or the red pill? There was not an option for me. And I'm thinking the same for you. And in fact, do you have your application on you? And I pat myself down and everything, looking for my application. They said, what application? I said, the one when you were just a baby and you got to ask God or your higher power to choose. I want freckles. I want brown skin. I want to be tall. I want to be, no, don't be silly. That's my point. Nobody has an application where they asked for these things. This is the system that I grew up in. Did you benefit at all from the system? Because when you want me to walk you to the door, when you want me to bring over fat strawberry soda from Popeye's Chicken to your house in a snowstorm, when you want me to do all these things, you want me to pay the bills, protect, honor, and then turn around and say, you can't tell me what to do. I also wonder, last part, and I'll land my plane with this. I also wonder if they feel duped in some kind of way, like, wow, we were led to believe. And that's when I have to remind them, we were also. So how do we figure this out together? I do have the patience and empathy to have the conversation because I see it as a person who's lost or a group of women who are now subscribing to the social media and the new messaging. And say the same way you're subscribing to the new messaging and you're going to give birth to a kid that didn't sign up even to be here. Y'all were just fucking. Or if you were married and planned to have a baby and you're going to subscribe them to whatever system the same way we were. So be careful what you ask for and be careful how you move. I'll land there.
I appreciate you guys' feedback. Thank you all. All of you guys' contributions were extremely valuable. The one I'll build on is one that Arshawn made when he said, learning to love ourselves, learning to love Black people, starting from that deficit. Mine's was the nation. These principles, these pillars that I put up, this was where the love came for me. And, you know, you guys know I say religion is something unique. So I don't, you know, ascribe to it because man put his hands on it. But I do take jewels. And, you know, learning that the foundation of all things in existence, to know the ledge so you won't fall over the edge, symbolic of the black man, the son who is God. These are the things that made me, again, love myself. Before there was a Mrs. Harris or any of the children or the house or the cars, it was me walking down the street, probably to some basketball game, saying what type of wife I wanted, what type of man I was going to be, what type of family I wanted to curate and have. And it was that loyalty to myself, that foundation that I built, that I have to stand on unapologetically. I can always backtrack. I can always change with new information is presented, but it has to be a foundation. It has to come from somewhere. And this is where I chose. I'm going to play a video and then I'm going to get you guys out of here. I've been dropping the link, and I would love for any fellas that want to come up and articulate their foundation to please, you know, feel free. But again, you guys know, you know, what I build on, that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And, you know, if you guys want to do the math, just holler at me. But the manifestation of knowledge, one's way and action to wise the dome, wisdom, symbolic to the black woman, whom we refer to as moons and earths. Again, peace to the gods and the earths, and looking at them in this light, not just Muslim women, but all women, and understanding that all women ain't gonna be that. Some women are gonna be different, but it seems like I get more smoke for pointing out that women are not of the moons and the earths, instead of them getting pushed back for not being wisdoms, not being moons and earths. Why are you bringing down the name of good, holistic, loyal, upstanding women? Why are you guys dragging their name in the dirt? What we hear is, why y'all good women talking about them cantankerous gutter snipes that's twerking on cars? Why y'all talking about them? Why we can't? So this is where my foundation comes, and I might not be right all of the time. My approach, my cadence, words I use might not be. But am I not worthy of a conversation? To say, you know what, let's have a conversation about the way you do that. And then we can start one. But love yourself, fellas. Have some form of a foundation to stand on. Ascribe to something higher than yourself. Let other people see your dedication. Let other people see, you know, your honor, your integrity, your morals, your value. Show it. Appreciate another brother. Compliment another sister. Backtrack an argument. Don't escalate it. Maybe we started off on the wrong foot, my brother. Can we start again? My bad. All of these things come from, you know, the foundation of that knowledge of self, that love for self. I'm going to share a video before I get you guys out of here, and I would love to know what you guys think. And
well said, brother. Well said.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and pull it up. All right. And give me 1 second. Come Wally. What's up, Wally? How you doing, my brother?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, brother. How you doing, man?
Wally. I'm doing well. What's going on, man? What's going on with everybody here?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Popping in. And let us know what you think about anything you heard so far. Any comments, questions, smoke? What you got, man?
No smoke.
Smoke.
But I know you asked about the foundation, right? Which is a very, you know, good conversation to have as far as what we have for ourselves. I mean, for me, I'll say it like this: when we think about our foundation, because when you bring up this question, this is a very heavy question for me even to think about, because I had to question this ever since birth. You know, like as I got older, you know, I had to question this for myself, because as you know, you get older and everything else, but you know, you may have, you know, I have brothers and everything else, but you know, one brother I didn't care too much for. One brother was always on the move doing something. So you really don't got the guidance to really understand the world around you, and then you're just trying to figure it out. And sure, you may get, you know, like for me, I usually base a lot of things off of, you know, certain like TVs that, you know, impact me very well. And then it's like, but just as life goes on, is like constantly every single time, you know, you look at certain things and just be like, you try to do the best as you can, but you always realize certain things just don't happen the way you want it to be. And you're wondering why, but it's like at the same time, you know, as time grew up, I end up finding out why, because it's never just mutual with certain people that you choose to have life with, like you choose to interact with in life. But as far as my plight, I mostly move in the idea of spirituality, for the simple fact that I just can't be with religion, because I always question it ever since. It's like it just never ride with me ever in life. And I'm not saying that like, oh, go ahead.
Who's on the top of that pyramid of that spirituality that guides you?
Oh, of course,
who's
God.
on the top of that?
Yeah, God.
Oh, okay.
But I just look at it differently away from the church itself, because I see that as just nothing but a mask of lies, in my honest opinion.
I mean, I hear you, but you know, I don't know if people can understand. Other people can hear that and kind of lose their faith in Christianity. I hear so many different Christians say, you know, well, I really don't ascribe to the church, and I really don't. So you don't go by the word that everybody else does? Do you differentiate, deviate? At what point do you veer off from what the book says? Because everybody goes by the book.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the book is an issue. That's not because I always say this. I think the book and religion itself is two different things, because unless someone can break it down for me, I never heard that God himself idolized himself as this particular religion for his people. And if so, then why do we have all these other religions in this world? Just to mask, just the identity of the Lord and who he is, this chosen people. Maybe so. I don't know. I'm not gonna choose those fights today. But I just find it very interesting how, certain things are like, I just tend to hear certain people break down certain things, and I'm thinking to myself, like, wait a minute. Because on one side, if you were to sit here and ask, well, what's the seventh day, aka the Sabbath day that God intended, some people tell you Sunday, but other people tell you Saturday. Well, what makes more sense? Because mostly time, every single time you see the calendar, the day starts Sunday, but the last day is Saturday. So what would be the Sabbath day? Saturday. But then you hear people say, oh, no, it's Sunday. Well, that makes no sense.
Okay.
It's the first day on the calendar.
So what do we think on the panel? What do you guys think about that Sabbath conversation?
I would just say the way I learned to sort my mind was to separate the way I thought about it and the way I felt about it. So I understand that Sunday is a day honoring the sun, like Monday is a day honoring the moon. So there's a lot of practices that do not apply to me specifically that influence the way that our days and our months and our years are set up. And it's a very bastardized culture, because some of it is Nordic or Norse, some of it is Greek, some of it's Roman. So it's very bastardized, and I have to understand that I'm coming from a mutt culture. That's what I have to understand. How I feel about it is okay, how does that impact me? So how I feel about it, my philosophy on feelings is utilitarian. How does Jesus, if I believed in Jesus, which I don't, if he died on Saturday or Friday evening, I think the Jews start Sabbath from Friday night. I mean, again, Jesus was a Jew. Mm-hmm. So Friday to Saturday was the Jewish Sabbath. So that's what he would have called the Sabbath. I know the Seventh-day Adventists, they go Saturday, and most mainline Christians will go with Sunday. But how does that impact me? It doesn't. his salvation would still be good no matter which day of the week he died on.
Indeed.
If I believed in that. You know what I'm saying? So my feelings wouldn't be changed by my understanding that it, you know what I'm saying? So like that's how I kind of parse it out. That way I can kind of compartmentalize. I feel like, man, my spirituality is good because he died and he rose again and he came in all power, even if it happened on Tuesday, July 17th. It wouldn't even matter. But I understand that I'm dealing with a system that's predicated on several systems coalescing in some kind of grand experiment. And it's a hot mess.
Okay. Anybody else?
Sorry, it's a hot mess. Sorry, not laughing at you, just the way you said it's a hot mess. Yeah. If I, Sunday is my day of rest, and I was actually just sharing that with you this morning that, like, our family, my sons and I, we get together on Sunday, not always every Sunday together, but today we're gonna be we're gonna be meditating and asking for forgiveness for ourselves, to know God or anything, but it's our day of reset.
Okay.
And as far as my understanding, because even that is different. You have Christians who believe in pretty much what Arshawn was talking about, and then Judas and other stuff that say it was this and that and that. So we don't even have a common denominator on that. So anyway, it's a rest day for me.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, may I ask Doc a follow-up question?
Sure.
Doc, can you tell me a little bit more about that day of forgiveness? Like you said, not like y'all don't ask about like to God necessarily, but how does that go? Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, most times, because I used to always, I say I apologize a lot, and people like they say, you don't have to apologize. You have to apologize. Don't be so apologetic. And what I explain is a lot of times you hear me say I'm sorry, but I'm actually apologizing to myself. Like, damn, you got caught up again. Damn, you fell for the okie doke again. Damn, you submitted to that negativity again. You did that, man. My bad. It sounds like I'm apologizing to the other person, but oftentimes it's to myself. And so with my sons, they get into that being want to be respectful around me. Some of it is that respectful man stuff, because they have some other beliefs. Like, they don't do a lot of cursing around me, and I don't use the N word. So they'll be like, oh, my bad, Dad, my bad. Why are you apologizing? Well, because I know you don't like it, but you apologizing to me but you're still doing the same behavior. Saying, well, we just finally made a pact one time, like, you know what? Let's just start with forgiveness of ourselves. We're not perfect. I don't want you to be perfect. If you're a perfect son, then maybe you're not even the son that I really want. You're like, Dad, how can you say that? So, because I never really wanted you. I never asked for you specifically like the way you are. I never said, give me you. Oh. So we get together and we take time to ask forgiveness for ourselves for the things we did intentionally and the things we didn't even know. And we just kind of throw it up in the air, but it's reading together, talking to each other about what we want forgiveness for in ourselves. So that's what we do.
Hey, I like that. I'm probably going to try to get my family on that, but I like that. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
All right, fellas, I want to play this video before I get y'all out of here. Y'all let me know. We can stop it periodically, and let's see if we can get through this.
The jokes in most of our popular magazines where they print cartoons have to do with father as a clown, whereas mom has to handle the real problems of the family and is therefore the realist in the picture. Dad is a clown. Why? Because he goes away to a mysterious place called the office of the factory, in which the family as such have no part and no real interest. He brings back a thing called money, and they want more of it, see, back at home. They don't care how you get it, just so long as you bring it back, because they're not interested in what you as a man do. And when you come back from the various rat races in which you are engaged making money, you're supposed to be a good pal to the children. Play with them, look after your wife, and appreciate what she's done all during the day. But they have no interest in what you do. They couldn't care less. And furthermore, you as a father, you as a mother, are expected to live for your children. Americans have an enormous sense of guilt because they have not done right by their children. And they're trying more and more to do right by their children. The difficulty is that the family as an institution is not surviving in industrial culture. It is an institution designed for an agrarian culture. It's fascinating to notice today the transition from agrarian to industrial culture in a country like Japan, where it's been extremely rapid. Let's take the craft of carpentry in Japan. Japanese have been some of the best carpenters in the world. Absolutely marvelous. Knowing how to make the most complex joinery constructions without even using a blueprint. Doing it by feel and by eye. In order to train a person to do this kind of carpentry, he has to begin to learn when he's 7 years old. But as it is now, because Japan has transferred to being an industrial culture, you may not bring up your child in your profession as a carpenter. You have to send the child to school where it can learn to be an insurance salesman. The child gets through school, goes through high school. When the child gets out, it's not interested in carpentry, it's interested in girls. Has to fool around with that for a while and then get married and then begin to learn the carpenter's trade, and it's too late to be anything but somebody who follows a blueprint. Therefore, this marvelous craft, which the Japanese cultivated for centuries, is being lost. For what?
I want to stop there. What do you guys think so far, what you heard? The depiction of the American dad, the, shift in the family dynamic, and, how if you don't continue to hone a skill, if you don't continue to perpetuate a legacy, it can fall by the wayside. What do you guys think?
I'll go. Unfortunately, I do agree, and I see that. I think parts of some families are really about the emotional connection and bonding and having family and legacy. But then we live in a society that says it takes economics. There's going to be money involved to build such foundations and legacies. And then, government's hands in it to say you got to pay taxes and this and that and that so we can have our part, which really shifts then how that family is able to move. So this money piece, how do we make that happen? Because if we go hungry here, what's the likelihood of my neighbor feeding me? Where in some of these other countries, the likelihood of someone sharing their bag of rice with you, a couple of scoops, is much easier and desired to do so. And then as far as that follow that American dream of school, marriage, even that's changed. It used to be school. You were even encouraged to get a trade, because some of these careers weren't promised. So it was like even to get a trade, like that's gone. You're not even in the high schools anymore. And then boom, off to marriage, and then kids. And then for the woman, if she's going to do the traditional stay at home, and then the father's out there working, missing time, missing all this foundation and stuff that he wanted to build, intended to build the legacy. So it's really just is all watered down because of this other expectation. So I agree with what the video is saying, that how we do it so much differently. And we consider ourselves diverse, but is that really as good as what we want it to be or need it to be? It's really complex.
Indeed, it is. It absolutely is. What do you think, Wally?
It's funny how you just called me because I was going to actually answer. But honestly, I think it all depends how you take it. I mean, now for the video and how I broke it down, is it true? Yes. But I think, again, it's like when we determine the idea of legacy, and this is why, honestly, just doing a simple research of understanding the word and just understanding where that is exactly, it's really a pick and choose. It all depends on who you want to be and who you're trying to be. Some people may, they rise up to the ranks and they have the quote unquote money status, and they are able to leave the money, the properties and everything else that is of value back to their children, or even however they choose to leave it when they're gone from this world. But in other aspects, that's not the only way. Because in another aspect, it's called leaving a lasting impact. Let's be honest. We always talk about Malcolm X and Martin Luther leaving a legacy, right? But what was their legacy? Their actions. We always remember it every year of every time. We remember it because it's always ingrained in history, right? It's a legacy, but it has nothing to do with money. So I think honestly, it all depends on who you're trying to be in this world and who you're trying to be amongst the people that are around you that see you for who you are in this world. So, I mean, you pick and choose how you want to leave it. But the thing is, I think we get so hung up how other people have guided and directed the world to the point where we always got to keep looking forward at what everyone else is doing versus what we're able to do for ourselves. We all be called for something, but everyone's not going to have the same thing as the next person. You're going to have something special for yourself. So, yeah.
Got you. Drelly just popped up. What up, man, Drell? Well,
what's going on?
Listening to what we've been talking about, do you have anything to add? Comments, questions, smoke?
Hey, everyone.
A little. Hey, everyone. Yeah, a little.
Hey,
I
man,
like
Joe.
this. This is a very good show. Shout out to Doc, Yella, Rashawn, and Wally. All of y'all dropping the mic today. I think this is more of the shows that we need to be doing. Also teaching people how to develop a foundation, because which is fundamental. What I've noticed from being from watching other panels and sitting on them, these people, especially like mid millennials and younger, they don't know anything. Like that's the big. It's not a big revelation, but it's like it kind of like set in stone for me. Like this past week, I'm like, oh my God, they don't know. They don't know how to develop relationship skills.
They don't know anything. Okay, there you go.
They don't know how to develop relationship skills. Again, not that they don't know how to. Not that they don't know that they don't have. They don't even know that they don't have them. They don't even know that they don't have these things. They don't know what to get, what to develop. They don't know anything.
And you said their age is how old, Mandrell?
I'll say from the worst of it that I've observed is mid millennials and younger.
So that's 25.
Pretty much my age and down.
Yeah, pretty much Wally's age and down. That's the worst of it. It's just.
Let me ask you this: are they grown?
They grown.
So is there a certain level of knowledge they should have being grown? Don't they vote?
Yeah, they have a certain level of knowledge, Mr.HeSaiD, but the level of knowledge they got, that ain't it.
So let me ask you. Okay. I'm glad you said that. What is your foundation, sir?
My foundation was rooted in Judeo-Christianity because I heard you guys talking about religion earlier. So I took a lot of the principles there. But as I grew up, and I also had a strong sense of honor, you know what I mean? Always have. But and since I've grown, a lot of that stuff has been etched in stone for me. Like, I mean, especially like even when developing relationships with women, I was like, okay, I learned at a young age when I asked my mom, how did you and Daddy keep the marriage going so long? She told me she believed in it. And that stuck with me my whole life long. I said, what do you mean? She said, no matter what it was, whether I liked the information or whether it was going to make me mad. And he knew it was going to make me mad. He never lied to me. He always told me. No matter how mad it was going to make me, he still told me. She said, so how can I not trust a person like that? So from that point on, like one of the policies I had is I'm never going to lie to a woman. Just don't lie to her. You know what I'm saying? So that's a principle that's in my principles is your core principles, like for example, like not lying to women and being honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself. I'm always honest with myself and be aware of your limitations. And so that when you're honest with your limitations, you can always work on them and improve them. Being a forever student, that's a principle of mine. That's something I'm never going to stop doing. Always going to learn. Have a sense of integrity. Now, I do understand that the world is not going to allow you to always tell the full truth, depending on who you're talking to. You might be talking to an enemy, so you don't want to tell them everything. It could be a situation like that. I understand that. However, be true to yourself. Have a sense of honor. Know that there's a line that you should not cross. You always have to have a line. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't have a line, what's to separate you from a rabid dog?
Well said,
or
sir.
a vicious animal. You must. That's what separates us from humans from the rest of them. You got to have a line.
Okay.
So
play the video.
May I ask a question, or can I?
Sure. Go ahead, jump in here, Doc.
Okay. So this is what I was talking about earlier. What Mandrell was just talking about. how many times he's been seeing over and over and over how many people are clueless. I mean, that's the whole thing about wisdom. We as we age and learn and become knowledgeable. But sometimes I think people forget that. We act like people should know, they should know, they should know. And we also do this, I call it like fresh out of college. You know, I have this new theory, and then the second I get out, I'm pushing the book theory and the new theory and the new theory just because we learned something. Or the AA and NA folks coming, they finally got clean and sober for 10 days. And they're smoking crack for 5 years, and they got clean for 10 days, and they coming out preaching the word about what people must do, must do, must do. We don't know until we know. And people get up into this 40s, 50s, and 60s before they even know. So sometimes when we have this hard, like, oh, well, they should know, fuck that, they should get over it, it does not work that way. Anyways, I just wanted to add, here's Mandrell saying, like, he's seeing more and more and more how many people just don't know.
Yeah. And like I say, it goes deep, dog. It's like, not only do they not know that they're going the wrong way, they don't even know that they're moving in a certain direction. It's wild.
And again, for me, that's really wild, because these people have degrees. These people are in professional jobs. They are doing things that affect other people. And if they lack the competence in which you guys are articulating, it's even worse than us sitting up here talking about it, because again, they're making decisions. They're, moving pieces around on the chessboard, and they don't have the competency. And to hear people wave their flag on being very dedicated to school and having degrees and being grown and, knowing they want honey, obey wings, I don't accept those answers, because I see the sophistication lying in other places. I watched the same, program that Mandrell is alluding to. And after 2 hours of commentary back and forth, exchanging ideas and experiences, one of the final thoughts was about their hair and addressing the chat. So the things that they want to be a student, they can be. I would never sit down a 29-year-old and have to start with what integrity means and what value means when they went to college and looked to the left of them and looked to the right of them and was able to graduate, and you didn't have integrity. You didn't know what value and morals and dignity were, but you made it through elementary, junior high, high school, college, work, DoorDash, Netflix. All of these things you can maneuver around, but value standards has to be broken down from its very last compound. I don't buy it.
Cool. Look, if I may add, and we can agree to disagree.
What up, Eda, man? Go ahead, Doc, jump in. I think you said we would
we can agree to disagree. I think what you're saying is sounds spot on. I also believe there are certain people who are not moving on their values. When we are born from 0 to 5, there's nothing about us. We're totally dependent. We have to wait for people to open up a can of food, a bottle of whatever. From 5 to 10, we're the human remote. Go get this and go do that. We don't establish our own values. Our own core values are not established until we are independent and needing to make those decisions. I'm going to school because that's what my pops expected me to do. I'm doing so-and-so because that's what I heard I'm supposed to do. I'm doing so-and-so because I need money. And stimuli moves. Life is very fluid. I can go through a whole entire course and then be like, damn, you know what I should have done? I studied Kung Fu. Dang, you know what I should have studied? So there's a lot of things we do well, we complete it and everything, only later to discover. And some people discover it sooner than others. But again, it depends on the life path that they're in. So they may discover, I want kids. I had them. God damn, these little motherfuckers. Why? I thought you wanted. Nah, I made a mistake. So I don't think there's a reality that life does not hit everyone the same, and the stimuli will shift. You can do amazing things. As I said, the doctor can go in there and do all kind of surgery, but can't even do damn basic CPR. So we would be like, how in the hell can you not? A nurse can do all kind of wonderful triage stuff, but let her stick a needle in your arm compared to a technician. That's all they do is draw blood and plasma and all that. Watch how the technician go whip up and be done while the nurse is like, hold still, let's try it again. Poke, poke, poke.
That's a good point. Good point, Doc. Sean, I'm coming to you next. I want to say hello to Eda Man Williams first, though. Eda Man, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Everything is good. The fellas on the panel extend their welcome to you. And what you got to say, man?
What's interesting, the conference that y'all guys having, because when I went through college, I don't remember taking integrity 101 class. I don't remember taking how to properly operate as a man 202. So just listening
Okay.
to this
Oh, let me
conversation.
jump in real quick. Let me jump in real quick, Eda man. Did somebody ever borrow a textbook from you?
Yes.
Did you require them to return it?
Yes, that was a requirement.
There was your lesson in integrity right there.
Well, some of them
Every
did
day
return
this
it.
stuff don't happen. So every day when we wake up, we loan somebody $5, we require them pay us back $5. Somebody step on our shoe, we require them to say, pardon me. We see a lady, we want to give them a comp. Like, these things aren't learned through day-to-day life. Is there a specific course that we got to sit down and learn standards in? Or do we develop standards as we live and we, come across people that may rub our standards the wrong way or come below our standards and we, act accordingly? You go ahead, Eda man.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but when I really look back on where I learned integrity and all these things from, I typically learned this from the church. And I know the church is under crucifixion right now, but that's what I learned it in Sunday school. I learned it with my grandparents. I learned it with my mother. But I remember my best friend growing up, he didn't know these things. His parents did not teach him. So yes, we can say like, the reason I don't loan people the money today is because people don't have integrity. Not many people. Matter of fact, I believe I could build a house if I could just get all the people that owe me money to pay me back. So I get that we kind of say that this one of those things is just supposed to be common sense and everybody's supposed to have it. But if your parents don't operate in integrity, how can we have an expectation for the kids to operate in that integrity? And that's the point that I want to make.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point. Absolutely. We have to model the positive behavior. Again, that's why I wanted to have you fellas come up and, like I said, model the articulation of our foundation, where we get our standards, what we ascribe to, what we subscribe to. And if people saw that, they may see us a little more human, because right now, we look a little predatoryish. We kind of, Catholic priests out here. So we got to save the image. Oh, Sean, what you think, sir?
Yeah.
Man, y'all definitely put a lot out there, so I'm gonna try to respond to quite a bit. I think where Doc is right is a lot of us are operating on, I'm gonna use like technological terms, on background applications. Like, our phone says this thing is operating in the background. Your battery's still draining. A lot of us are living our lives like that. So it's still draining our battery, but we're not actually doing anything ourselves. We're not in control. We're not touching anything. It's just automated processing. We're AFK. You only learn the lessons like you're talking about, Mr.HeSaiD, like integrity, when you're online, when you are present, when you are interfacing yourself, because it's not going to get picked up in the background. Because we talked about fear and respect. You can learn to return Eda Man Williams' book simply because you fear the repercussions, not because you have any integrity. So if we find out that Eda Man Williams will never do anything about it, we may stop returning his book. Not because, so integrity was never there. We weren't taking the actions because we had integrity. We took the actions because of fear. So we have to learn, a lot of people, because of the way we grew up in our authoritarian households in the church, a lot of people are operating on a fear model, not out of a sense of integrity or character. It'll look the same behaviorally to the outsider because, oh, they look responsible. They're returning books. Oh, they're going over there. They're saying hi to Doc. They're being mannerable. That's because they fear something. Not because when there's no fear, when that fear gets removed, which is why our culture looks like what it is today, when there's no repercussions, when there's no fear, when there's nobody to hold you to anything, we see the lack of character and lack of integrity. We see what this actually looks like real time. It's today. That's why we have these shows like yours, because we're seeing the results of people believing people were integral and had character, but it was simply a fear-based response. Now that the fear is gone, God is dead. Nobody can tell me nothing. Only God can judge me if you ain't paying my bill. Well, if nobody can hold you to anything, now we're seeing what the lack of fear is in our people. We weren't instilling character. We weren't instilling integrity. We thought we were because we were making people go to church, but they weren't online. They weren't taking in the lessons. They were just doing what they needed to do to get resources or whatever. But to the video that you played, Mr.HeSaiD, I do think I like Alan Watts. We've lost our humanity to commodity. So to respond to what he said, I think I would ask anybody to go and look up what the monitorial education system is. It's something that we got from Prussia. It's the kind of modeling that our school is still based on today, but came over in the 1800s. Everything that we do as people in our culture and our society, it means something. And it comes from somewhere. And it's meant to create an outcome. And we need to ask the questions to find out what those things are. So we don't even know how our system of education, we don't even know what it's predicated upon. We don't even know what outcomes our system of education is supposed to produce, because it's producing what it was meant to produce. Our system of education is functioning as intended. It was not meant to breed model citizens or well thought of the thinking populace. It was not meant to make us the ideal version of men and women. That's not what it was designed for. So us thinking it's supposed to do something else is thinking that you're going to get healthy by eating McDonald's every day. It would be dumb. We would all know that that's a stupid, that's illogical. And anybody that said that, we would think was crazy. But that's the same thing like sending our kids to our current educational system, our public schools, sending our kids there and thinking they're going to be good, healthy men and women when they grow up is the same kind of thinking that if I eat McDonald's 3 meals a day, I'm going to be healthy. It's the same kind of stupid, but we don't even know how stupid we are because we don't even know what we're doing. We're completely offline to a great deal of our own lives. And the last thing I would say, I'm gonna go ahead and land it there so somebody else could jump in. But you know, y'all put a lot out there I want to respond to. But go ahead, I'll pass the mic.
It was a lot of points on the board. Nah, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yella, we're gonna jump in. We're gonna come back to you, Eda Man Williams. We're gonna let Yella jump in. He's been sitting patiently, man. We appreciate you, Yella.
Point this out real quick.
Man. Yeah.
Appreciate it, Armstrong.
Right quick, Yella. If you remember, a gentleman came up on that panel and asked one simple question: what are you guys' standards? Mm-hmm. He says, I hear y'all say standards are important all the time and stand on something. So I have a question. What are you guys' standards? It never made it past the first person.
Absolutely.
And 15 minutes went by and Just Jay and myself, both of us reminded the panel, hey, the question was, what are your standards? Let's stick with that. We reminded everybody like 4 or 5 times a piece within 15 minutes, and it never moved.
Your heart, you have such a bleeding heart because again, you know, I don't know if I'm just mean, but I know grown people heard you. This is the first panel they've been on. You heard the question, and that's where respect, that's where consciousness comes in. A question is posed. Let's go ahead and feel that. But when it gets kicked all around and no one says a word about it, but want to teach young men about integrity, I find it perplexing. So, Yella, it's on you, man. What you got?
Yeah, I've been sending back. Y'all have said a lot of good things. I don't really have too much that I disagree with, but I will answer this question because I know everybody's kind of put that thing out. You had asked, where's your foundation set? And I hear a lot of people saying that, you know, it's based in religion and all that. My foundation is based in the judicial system of the United States of America, specifically Cook County, Illinois. That's where my foundation and my morals and is. If it's illegal, I probably won't do it. Probably. I'm strong on probably. So it doesn't really take like having to learn it or really read up on it or nothing like that. It kind of comes with experience, right? A lot of my standards come from things that I've had done to me that I wouldn't want to do to other people. I think we've kind of lost that thing because we can have standards all we want to, but a lot of our standards is just what we're not going to take and what we're not going to deal with. And I think we miss out on learning what we need to put out. Like a lot, I hear a lot of standards are reciprocal. I mean, not reciprocal, but is receiving what I'm willing to deal with, what I'm willing to accept, and not necessarily how am I going to make the situation better. How do I improve the situations that I am involved in, or how do I just not make it worse? Because you don't necessarily have to improve, just don't make it worse. So it was a lot said though, and in that period of time, I guess ain't really nothing too much unless it's something like specific I want to know. Everybody had decent points though.
Indeed, I agree. What I would say to that is I see a lot of selfishness in people, and I think it comes from ascribing to the monolith of treat others how you want to be treated. Who the hell cares how you want to be treated? That's you. Yellow wants to be treated a certain way, but Mr.HeSaiD don't want to be treated how Yellow wants to be treated. So what Mr.HeSaiD would do is get to know Yellow and find out what Yellow likes, and then treat him accordingly to what Yellow specifies and what he requires to see as reciprocation and energy in a relationship, whether it's platonic, romantic, or whatever the case may be. But I think so many people walk around with this, treat people like you want to be treated, when that's very selfish, because everybody ain't you.
Yes, sir. That's the golden. Is the golden rule, right? Versus the platinum rule.
Yeah, and they don't, and that's even the worst part about treat people how you, because people don't do that.
Okay.
Like because most time folks want to be treated like you said, they want to be treated like the best thing ever, but they don't do that for people. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. See, the man want to jump in. What you got, E?
See, because I have conversation with young men. I was having this conversation with this young man, and he was 21 years old, and he said something that it bothered me, but I had to agree with him. We was talking about this. First of all, standards and integrities are two different things. Because I can have a standard doesn't mean that it's that it aligns with my integrity, right? But I was talking to this young man about integrity and different things like this. He looked at me, he was frowning. I just didn't understand why he wasn't receiving. I felt like I was dropping gems. You know how like you feel like you're dropping some nuggets? He was like, why is he not receiving what I'm saying? He looked at me, he said, Mr. Williams, can I be honest with you? He said, have you ever heard that saying that good guys finish last? He said, I'm just going to tell you the truth. He's a business owner. He said, men with integrity, they finish last. They don't get the cream of the crop, especially in this business world. So I get what you're trying to tell me to stand on. He said, but why would I choose to finish last when I can finish with first? And that bothered me. Because in reality, me being a business owner, I understand where he's coming from.
That's understandable.
Yeah, it's understandable. That's why I chose.
But you also understand that applies to business and not the other aspects of life, because that makes sense from a business standpoint. You know what I'm saying? But that's also why those men tend to struggle with other relationships that they can't. That it's not a business thing, because you can't put your thumb down on certain relationships like that with your kids or your wife or your parents or people that ain't the business. Because if you want, because I understand what he's saying, like at certain points you got to be cutthroat, but it's not gonna help when you sitting across the table from your lady and you try to spit some business shit to her, and she like, nigga, I ain't trying to hear that. I got emotional things going on. You need to learn how to be the good guy.
See, but that's the point that I'm telling you. He does this with everything. He does this with his woman, and she respects him. She submitted. Like if he tried to be the nice guy with integrity, and he got ran over. That's what I'm telling you. Is this cutthroat dude that he has became. Now I get y'all think that he's supposed to do something different. This guy with, I call it, like, I'm not saying that he got morals, but his integrity is questionable. I don't know if that makes sense. But I'm telling you, the person that he became actually fixed a lot of problems in his life.
I could tell you this though. I could tell you this with 100% confidence. If he's sitting up there not being any type of I get what you're saying. Like, you can't always be the nice guy. I get that. that is also a it's like a false premise because she's not going to sustain that for a long term,
You
right?
wrong,
Because
bro.
eventually, hold on, eventually. At some point in the process, he's going to have to be that. And if he can't flex that muscle when needed, she's going to see that. She's going to see that.
I
That's what
hear
I'm
what you're
saying.
saying, Yellow, but every asshole I know got a woman. It's the
Hey,
good
I
real
mean,
guys
quick.
that have
that's
problems.
the thing though. That's the thing though. Getting a woman ain't that hard. Like you just like it's getting a woman ain't that hard. It's not. So you could be an asshole and get a woman. You could be a good guy and get a woman. Getting a woman ain't the issue, right? Because if she wants to sit back and deal with that type of thing, and that's what she's okay with. You know what I'm saying? That's also the certain type of woman that he probably dealing with. You can't expect you can't expect me to move in that type of way and expect them to all get the results because all of them ain't him. He probably got something else that allows him to be that way. Cause a broke nigga ain't finna be that way. A ugly nigga can't work like that. So it's other factors that go into him being able to move like that. So it ain't just him not being the nice guy. You also said he a business dude, so he probably got some money. You know what I'm saying? So there's always that extra factor that goes beyond that type of attitude in those situations.
I think Arshawn wanted to jump in real quick. Arshawn, you up there?
Yeah, real quick, man, because I think this is something that we do quite often. I think we miss, like, because of the way we use words loosely. Like, integrity and morals are very closely related and are a part of your character. Like, he probably has, because you said he has morals, so he probably also has integrity and standards and has character. I think what you're talking about is the way he behaves, his behavior patterns, the way he speaks, the way he moves, his mode of operating. That doesn't have to be nice. That doesn't have to be kind. And you can still have integrity. You can be very almost ruthless, but still have integrity. Like, I'm never going to tolerate this, and this, and I'll cut anybody off that does this, says this. But that's a part of my standard. And my integrity is intact because of that. So I think, like, sometimes we're mistaken the way people behave versus who they are. How somebody is and who somebody is are two different things. And I think when people are talking about nice guys finish last, they're talking about how somebody is. That doesn't necessarily speak to who somebody is.
Okay. Mandrell, what you think about what you heard so far? And then we're gonna come back to you, Eda, man.
I get what you're saying. I mean, when it comes to business, depending on the business you're in, you may have to be cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. But it depends on the kind of business you're in. There's some businesses you can get involved in and you don't have to do any of that. Like, I don't have to be cutthroat and ruthless in the stuff I'm involved in. You know, it's not necessary. You know, if someone has a contract out there and just like, okay, and I try to negotiate and like, okay, no problem, not interested. You know what I mean? That's not the deal I want. So I just walk away. You know, but it all boils down to choices. You know, do nice guys finish last? Depends on your perspective on it. They might finish last, but some people say they finish best. You know, and it depends on what you're able to. Can you sleep at night? At the end of the day, you know, you got some. You may call them assholes. You got some assholes who can be complete assholes to people. Know they're doing it. Know they're messed up. They can sleep, but the world hates them. They have no friends. They might be married and in relationships, but they're completely lonely. You know what I'm saying? So it's give and take. All of it is.
Okay. Eda, man, what you got, man? Eda, man, going through a tunnel or something. Wally, save the conversation while we wait on Eda, man.
Where are we hitting on?
You wasn't listening?
Oh, I was listening. No, I'm saying, well, like, are we hitting on what Eda Man was talking about earlier?
You jumping in wherever you want, man. Where you at with it?
I mean, look, as far as far as what you man said,
E-Man is back. He
again,
saved you. Nope, too late.
There it goes.
Get him.
Man, what you got, brother?
Yeah, I don't know why y'all couldn't hear me, but I respect Mandrell, but assholes got friends, bro. There's a whole bunch of assholes that hang out together. Like it's like a whole community of assholes, and they play cards and they do asshole things together and go on vacation together. It's just like a like-minded people hang together. And me being in sales, I kind of get if you kind of like if you're an entrepreneur or business owner that is away from everybody and your deals is 100% dependent on you. But typically when you have an organization, it's certain things that have to happen. It's a lot of things. Like I have been in situations that I have sold a business that without a doubt would have made me a millionaire, but it questioned my integrity. And if I ask myself all the time, if I would have removed my spirituality, if I would have removed my relationship with God, I truthfully and honestly might would have been still there. God, my relationship with God is what stopped me from crossing that line, because it's always a line that you can be able to cross. So I get it that we think that these guys don't win, they lonely, they by themselves, but I learned that even these assholes have a trait, and it's called leadership, and it draws people even though people don't like certain things about their character. So that's just my inspection of dealing with them.
That's a great point. That's a great point because you can respond right after I jump in real quick, man, Joe. Like we saying about foundation, it might not be favorable, it might not be palatable, but it's a man standing on his square, so to speak. And I think we can always backtrack, we can be apologetic, we can change our mind with new information, but I think we have to start at somewhere. And I think standing on your foundation, standing on your square, and what that's based on, if it's God or Buddha or whatever the case may be. But I think having that moral compass, like you guys said, being able to look at yourself in the mirror and not be, displeased with what you see back, no matter what, echelon of person you are as a human. I think that's important. And, I don't know if this is something that has to be taught to us like a classroom lesson. I think it's a moral compass inside of us for a reason. So, maybe I'm way off, Mandrell. You jump in, man.
Yeah, I mean, assholes do hang together, but they never trust one another. They never drop. They can never drop. You can never drop your guard around an asshole. You cannot. Whether you want yourself or not, you can't do that. They're gonna get you. They're all sharks. They live in a very dog eat dog world, and you will be eaten. So that's what I mean by they're never comfortable. And I don't know about E-Man, but I've never met a billionaire who wasn't completely fucking miserable. Never. I've met. Here's the thing, E-Man. I've met several, and I've had like actual, real, no BS, the curtains down, one-on-one conversations with them. They're all miserable. You know what I mean? I'm not. Those are just the ones that I met. I'm not saying there's a billionaire out there who's not happy. I'm not saying that, but the ones that I met. And I learned a very valuable lesson with that. I'm like, okay, that's when I learned, okay, no matter what I do with the rest of my life, I have to ask myself, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth it? And then one day came about, one day I get a call from my sister saying that she got an audition. She got a role in this show called Power, starring 50 Cent. She was going to play a big role. She she got it, got the audition. But she had to do a sex scene with 50 Cent. So she asked me, what do I think? So I said, you got to understand, I'm going to see it because I'm going to support you. Mama's going to see it because she supports you. Everyone you know is going to watch that just to support you. And when they see, and we're going to see that scene. So I got to ask you, after you do this scene, can you live with yourself with it? Can you live with it? So she ended up turning that role down. She held on to her integrity. Now she didn't get the role. That role probably would have sprung her into superstardom. We don't know. It could have, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, she can sleep at night. She's happy with herself. She can drop her guard. There's peace in her life. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. True indeed. Appreciate you, man, Drell. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. I appreciate the insight you guys gave. Y'all enlightened me a lot. I'm gonna drop a couple of clips toward the end, but I want you guys to reflect on this last clip that I'm gonna play, and we're gonna get out of here. I want to thank you guys again for checking me out, man, and being here with me today. Sean, you were first in, man. Tell me anything you want to say about that clip I just played, anything about today, this conversation we had, and any final thoughts you want to leave the people with, man. It's on you.
All right, cool. I got 3 points. Like on the integrity thing, like the second definition of integrity is something that's whole. So if you imagine who you are as a person, who you are, if you were to visualize you as a person, what you're comprised of, what your character is, what do you value, what do you believe in, and you picture that as your physical body, that's integrity. And anything that you do that would break a piece of that off, that would violate your values, your beliefs, your standards, your core being, that's when you're lacking integrity. That way you can actually visualize it. Like Mandrell gave that example. If I do this, will it cost me a piece of myself that I value, that I need, that allows me to sleep at night, that allows me to look myself in the eye in the mirror, that allows me to be in a room alone with my thoughts? If you lose that, you've lost your integrity. You're no longer whole. That way people can visualize it. It's not just some amorphous word. Integrity is your core being in its wholeness. And if you lose that because of your behaviors, you've lost integrity. You've been compromised. So that's a way that people can visualize that. To the clip, something I would say is I think we need to focus less on outcomes because everybody's worried about getting the bag or something like that. It's an outcome. There was a clip in there that talks about what we need to worry about, and that's our incomes and not our money. Our money is another outcome. We need to worry about what's coming into us as a person. Like there was something where the sludge was getting pumped into that lady. She was just sitting there and it was a sludge just pouring into her mind. We have to worry about what is being poured into our lives, what is being poured into our minds. And even though I'm a fat boy, we got to worry about what's being poured into our bodies. Like what is coming into us, even though it's counterintuitive, some things that you take in actually take away from who you are, take away from what you are and what you're capable of. So instead of addition by subtraction, you can have subtraction by addition. You take in the wrong thing, it's going to take away from who you are and how you live. And my final point, another visualization. You know how a lot of times we'll like try to, be IKEA and we'll try to put something together ourselves and we try to follow the instructions, but they in like Chinese or Swedish. And we get at the end of it and everything kind of looks right. But you got a couple of pieces and there's like a plank, 2 screws, and like a nut. And you're like, where was it supposed to go? And it's left over. You don't know where it's supposed to go. You think you've done everything right. And it feels good. It feels solid. And you move on. But somewhere down the line, it might be a day, a week, a year. Eventually, something falls apart. And it's because of them pieces. And you like, I knew that was going to happen. I know when, but it's when you needed it. When you put weight on it, when you leaned against it, it's going to be something and it's going to fall apart. That is what is happening. And we also pass that thing. Let's imagine it's a chair. That thing, that's our chair. And there's going to be a leg loose. There's going to be the seat loose. The back is going to be loose or something like that. But we're going to patch it up. And then we're going to give that same chair to our families. Our kids are going to take that chair with them. And they're not going to know because we are so wrapped up chasing, like you had the person on the hamster wheel and you had the person chasing, holding on to the clock and the person chasing money. We're so busy doing all these other things. We don't have any way to pour into them the situational awareness so that when they get that chair that we've patched up over our lives, they don't know why anything is on there. Why anything is, why does dad got this bar on here? Why does dad got this thing holding up the leg? Why is this thing on the leg? They're going to start taking apart the very things that you use to stabilize that chair that they've been sitting on their entire life. And then they're not going to be able to sit on it. And they're not going to be able to sit at all. They're never going to be able to be comfortable because the life that you put together, cobbled together from scraps and everything falling apart, they don't know what to do with because we weren't there to teach them how to build. We weren't there to teach them how to repair anything. They don't know how to balance on broken legs because they've been sitting so long that their leg muscles are weak. So they have no way to cope. They have no way to succeed. And they've got this broken life that you've handed to them. This chair is the life that you've handed to them. And they've got nothing now. They can't sit in it. They can't use it. They can't fix it. And they probably can't buy a new one either. So it's like, what are we going to do? So at some point, if we don't have the ability to take the time to teach how to build or how to repair, we're dooming our children, and every generation is going to have to build from scratch. And that's unfortunate. Nobody's ever going to get ahead like that. We're just, as a group of people, no matter which group of people you want to identify with, men, women, black, white, whatever, if you can't pass on something better than what you had to your children, or all of the things that you use to prop yourself up, you can't teach them how to do the same or how to fix those things that you use to stabilize yourself, they're going to be lost. And that's what's happening. Nobody knows how to figure it out. And we've got a lost generation. So yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate you inviting me. I'm glad I made it. I appreciate all the bros up here, Yella, Doc, Wally, Eden Man, Mandrill, everybody in the chat, and especially you, Mr.HeSaiD, man. Definitely appreciate you for inviting me up and even having this platform. And I'm a tip on out.
Appreciate you, Sean, man. Thank you for coming through. You know, the door is always open for you, brother. Appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing and keep being you. Yella, you up next, my brother. It's on you, man.
Let's see. What can I leave y'all with? Yeah. I was going to talk about the Sabbath. My Sabbath is Sunday, and my Most High is football. The gods of NFL, they are calling me now. In fact, I've been sitting here disobeying my spiritual leaders and missing a great playoff game. But I would always miss a great playoff game to come talk to you fellas, man. This is a good chat. This is this was needed though. This was needed. You know what I'm saying? Fellas need to figure out where we stand, put your feet on the ground and stand like a man. So appreciate Mr.HeSaiD. Shout out to the Saids as always. Shout out to the panel and everybody here. And I'm out, y'all. Peace.
Appreciate you, Yella. Always a pleasure, brother. The door is always open for the critically drinking crew, and enjoy Sunday playoff football, man, because it's going down. Kansas City and Baltimore, and who else is in there?
49ers and Lions.
49ers, Detroit.
Wait a minute. Somebody call hell and find out, is it frozen? Y'all said Detroit is still playing football now?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a one-off. Every 100 years, they do get their chance.
Yeah, I'm getting old. God damn it. Yeah. Okay. Let me regroup. Doc, you were next, Doc. What you got?
Yeah. Oh man, first of all, let me give a shout out to Sean. And I don't mean to throw this off, but if I heard him say he was a fat boy, so I was like, oh my, that's just what I grew up on. I'm like, oh man, like the fat boy. I'm starving. Anyway, all right.
Oh, you Kenny. That was my jam right there.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
All right, I'm sorry, I digress. Honored to be up here to share in this space with you on the panel live with the brothers and for those in the chat. Love the fact that we're able to share, be vulnerable with each other, be honest with each other, take risk, and have in-depth conversations. We didn't get into who's, ass was the biggest, shakes the most, who was hottest, this and that, which is deep conversation. I appreciate it. If I had anything to give back with everything that was said, I would say, integrity, morals, values. Please remember, even though some may say that they consider a person to be less than if you don't have that, I say knowledge is everything, self-mastery is everything, and please take the time to discover yourself so you can set a good set of boundaries, values, belief systems, not operate in fear anymore, and be the best person that you can be. But until that happens, and usually these things don't happen until we have a life a significant life event or something has to trigger it. So even though someone else may be in a different position than you, different status than you, if you subscribe to that, then you have to put in the work. If you don't subscribe to that, but you want to be better in something else, then you still have to put in the work. And even if you don't think of yourself, please remember there is a community ahead of you or out there that you're representing. And if you have children, there's generations that you need to do the work so you can offer the best of yourself. And last but not least, our ladies, our sisters, women across the board, but especially our sisters, please know, because it came to my mind when you had asked the question, when we're talking about women and the Black women and how they feel, please know I'm definitely a guardian of women and Black women to do my part with no strings attached. I'm not looking for the coochie and all that. And that's the other thing. When brothers or anyone offers you support, this goes actually to everybody. When people offer you support, even though it may seem like they have a motive, please, guard yourself, protect yourself, but allow them to offer you that support, because we cannot see beyond the tip of our own nose unless we're looking in the mirror. So don't shoot down the messenger. Mr.HeSaiD, you out there doing your thing, and people are going to come at you because we all sit down with targets on our back. But when you stand up, you're the biggest target in the room. And so it's easier to shoot at you because you're the biggest target, not because what you're offering. So please, please, please continue to do what you do. And brothers on the panel who we share this space with, please continue to do what you do so we can be the best that we can be and offer the best that we have. I love you all. Peace and take care.
Thank you, Doc. Appreciate you, brother. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Mandro, were you next or was Wally next?
I'm not sure.
Let's go with you. Wally gotta wait.
Okay, no problem.
Shout out to JT. You know I love you all.
I'm going on waiting.
Shout out to the panel and the chat and you, sir. Like I said, what I learned this week, what it actually set in this week is that they honestly don't know. Like people don't. It shocked me this week, like how few people actually put thought into developing standards in the first place. They say they do this and they stand on this and they stand on that until they're in a situation where they make a decision. It's easy to say you stand on something when it's comfortable. When you're not facing any decision, there's no stress, there's no strife, there's no resistance. Easy to say you're going to stand on this, that, and the other. But when you find yourself in a situation where it's either or, you have to stand on it or not. What are you going to do then? You honestly have to weigh this before you say, I stand on this and I stand on that. That's one thing people don't really put thought into it when it comes to standards either. That's why my list is so short.
Okay.
I'm saying? It's like, okay, I have my core beliefs, my core standards, things I do stand on, but all of the rest of it has to be a negotiation. That's just simply how the world works. The world ain't gonna let you stand on everything you want to stand on, depending on your situation. Life is just like that. But I also noticed that far too many people sweat the small stuff. Small little insignificant things that make you that when they accumulate, they make you so selfish. How can you be any good to anybody else? You're not even really good to yourself. In fact, other people, you're only good to yourself. How are you good to anybody else if the only person you're good to is you? So when it comes to sweating the small stuff, I mean, Marcus Aurelius got a quote. He says that if you're bothered by something external, the pain of it is not due to the thing itself, but your estimation of it. And this, you have the ability to reject at any time. So when it comes to facing anything, even if it's something somebody said, really think about it and ask yourself, is it worth it? If no, move on. That's one way to build character and principle. Stop sweating the small stuff and be honest with yourself. There you go.
Well said, sir. Well said. What up, Jay Takashi? How you doing, my brother? Hope all is well, man. You enjoying
how you doing, man?
Football Sunday. All is well, sir. I'm gonna come to you after I get Wally's final thoughts. I'm gonna come to you. We talking about our foundation as men, how we formed it, what we ascribe to, what we subscribe to, what our higher power is and how we, you know, form the moral compass that we have. So you give that a couple of seconds. I'm gonna go to Wally and we're gonna keep it moving like that. Wally, what you got, my brother?
As far as the final clip goes, I mean, it just goes to show you, like, this is how the world is just, you know, operated. You know, you will chase the holy dollar. Who's echoing?
I'm on mute. Everybody's muted except you.
It's in your mind, Wally. I promise you, it's in your mind.
Yeah, just ignore that echo in your mind, Wally. Don't worry about it.
I don't know why, because I'm hearing double.
They coming for you, Wally. They coming.
It's not in my mind. I literally still hear
twice.
that.
Blink twice if you need us. They coming to get Wally, y'all.
Hey, Wally, I am your conscious, Wally. And I'm speaking down there.
The doc's in the building. If you need help, Wally, just tell me what you're thinking.
Holy smokes.
All right, hold
Jay,
on.
save him, Jay. Save him, Jay.
No, I think.
Wally, you good over there, man?
No, it's thing with my Bluetooth, but I'm not. No, what I was saying was, but yeah, no, based upon the clip, you know, it just shows you, like, yeah, look, you're gonna chase the holy dollar, but you're gonna bleed yourself trying to do it. You're gonna die trying to do it. You can't regain your time because you'll be gone before you can even try. You're getting you're being fed trash, which is diluting your mind, diluting your health. And no matter what you do, you always going to throw away your energy on something that you will never be able to fully give yourself to. No matter what, you just lose.
Damn. Shit. Oh, okay. Jay Takashi, what do you think about the question that I asked and what you heard so far? We coming to you next, Eater Man.
All right. Ask me the question full on. That way I can get a fresh start because I ain't trying to copy nobody here.
Nah, you fine. What is your foundation? How did you form that? What do you subscribe to? Who's your higher power?
Okay. Who's my higher power? That's actually a good question. So because you're asking me who I subscribe to, right? In terms of like, okay. So it's not really somebody I subscribe to more so. I guess my template, more of a template I come from, is my father. My grandfather, like former military, I think Mandra and Wally know, E-Man and Dr. Dog don't know. But you know, he was, you know, former military man, raised up on principles of how to be a man, of how to have how to have principles for your foundation that you build as you get older, and really give you the template of set you up of what if just I guess the best way to say it is of you build your sanctuary. And once you build that sanctuary full of principles and it's built on a foundation of something, you don't let anything disrupt the foundation, basically. And you stand on it clearly. Now, I guess like who's the part of like, it feels like, I feel like I should say God at this point, but I can't say that with a clear head first.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I would say is just really, I'm more so subscribing to like my love and belief in others is what it is. I think that's what it is. Like the men that are around me, the brotherhood that I'm around. I think I subscribe more to that. Not just my father, of course. I think he's the nexus. I guess you could say he's the nexus, and then my brotherhood is the conduit right there. That's what they would be. They're the circuit.
No doubt. Appreciate that. Eater Man, it's on you, man. What you got, man? Anything you heard today, that last clip that I played, if you were able to catch it, and anything else you want to jump in on, man?
Yeah, I want to definitely give my final thoughts because I think we have did a really good job of trying to make money evil. And if you chase after it or you pursue after it, you know, that means that something's wrong with it. And I'm a type of person that I enjoy making money. When I go to the point that says that I chase it, I think it depends on how you look at it. But we're all chasing something in life, right? I just think it's crazy how people can justify chasing other things, but doesn't chase the money. But that's neither here nor there. The whole point looking at that last clip. I've really been studying some on generations, right? And it's something that I can't figure out. I can't figure out if I become really successful, while my kids typically can't manifest that same success. But my kids typically will manifest that because they did not become successful. And I've been asking myself this question: how do we pass along the same things that we have? And then I go back to my childhood, how we struggled. I remember when we had to open up the stove to heat the house. I don't know if many people understand what that means. I remember when we was vegetarians, not because we didn't believe in eating meat, it's because we couldn't afford meat. And I understand that all these things sculpted me. And now my kids will never will see those type struggles. I can say it. I can stand on top of a mountain and scream what it is, but they wouldn't have that experience to understand what it means to go and get it. So I'm just going to leave this thought with you guys: is I feel like we lose regardless. If I'm too successful, if I make too much money, I lose. If I struggle, live paycheck to paycheck, we lose. So when we designing this thing called life, and if we're blessed to have 100 years onto this life, if it's really no opportunity to win, why not be selfish and do what you want? And that's kind of the question that I've been fighting with for the last couple months.
That's a great question. That is a great question. And I really think that it encompasses this conversation that we have. And I think that's where the integrity and that moral compass that we have inside of us, it may even be, programmed to not a true north. It may be a little miscued because of like that clip that I played earlier. We looked at as dummies. Dads are the dummies in the house. Mom is holding everything together. Like we're these Neanderthals just going to work, bringing back money, rinse and repeat. And that's why I wanted to have this show today, to be able to articulate. Like I said, I wanted particular men up here because not everybody can articulate their foundation. There's no way you're going to get a woman to ascribe to you when you are a waffle. So who's your most high? Well, I really don't have one. Well, what do you ascribe to? Well, I really don't ascribe to nothing. It's kind of like people. And when I meet them, I kind of blow with the wind and depending on. That shit is bullshit. Ain't no girl ascribing to that shit. But when I step to her and I say, I deal with the gods and the earths, mama. I deal with knowledge, the foundation of all things in existence. To know the ledge so that you won't fall over it. Symbolic to the black man, the sun, who is fucking God. I don't care how you feel about it. I don't care if your pastor agree. I have the ability to create life. I have the ability to take life. And I have been told I can never do that. I lived upstate in the mountains, 8 years, negative below temperature for 9 months out the year. I could never do that. I know you couldn't because you ain't the God. But I can. I can do all things. I left there and I moved to Baltimore. You know what the people in Baltimore told me? How the fuck did you come here? Why'd you come here? You know, my people in New York, my uppity brother in Florida, because I got fucking money. You know what they say? Why you pick your family to live there? The same thing the fucking white people told me. But this is why I know my foundation is what I stand on. And the wisdom, the manifestation of knowledge, one's way and action, the wise, the dome, to wise, the dome, symbolic to the black woman, whom we refer to as the moon or earths. These are the principles in which I live my life. It goes by the day on the calendar. Again, today's the 28th. So today is wisdom, build and destroy. What is today for Christians? What is today for Muslims? What is today for Buddhists? I'm not saying it to be funny. I'm asking out of curiosity. How do you guys walk day to day with any sort of parameters when Jay Takashi comes up here and say, well, I don't ascribe to no higher power. I don't have no almighty, I go by my dad and my grand. But everybody don't know your dad and your granddad. So, you know, when we tell women to fall in line with us and follow me and subscribe to what I'm saying, and you a fucking waffle, you don't even subscribe to nothing. So how's she gonna fall in line? You like money, and not to say money is bad, but when you are moving like that clip, when you're running after money and losing pieces of yourself, when you're holding on to the clock and you're losing pieces of yourself, you can't get that time back. I don't care how much money you got. Those kids don't know about that money. And if we don't put values into them, a foundation into them, I've seen it with my grandmother kids. They will fuck your money up in 6 months. And now all of that legacy, all of that generational wealth you talking about, that shit died in 6 months because they sold your house. They blew through that fucking money because they could care less. They don't have no foundation. They don't have no morals. They don't have no higher power to ascribe to say, I have to have a moral compass. I'm not going to kill. I'm not going to rape. I'm not going to steal. I'm not going to fuck my neighbor's wife. There's certain things I'm not going to do because there's a natural law to this world. But when we live in 2024 and it depends, and what do it mean to you? There's no more natural law. Nobody wants to be natural. No more natural family, no more natural hair, and no more natural birth. And y'all think I'm supposed to just, you know, fall in line with all of this waffling and nobody standing on anything solid? And when I do, I'm the mean person. Oh, he talked too loud. Oh, he's an asshole. Oh, he think he better than everybody. No, I don't think none of that. I think knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And when I say the Christians puzzle me more, it's because that's what Solomon asked for. Solomon, the wisest man in the book, he asked for what the gods got: knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Y'all build on that shit. When you see me, respect the God. Say peace, God.
What the Father was able to do was, through his teachings, he was able to bring out the mathematics, and I think one of the most important lessons, which is called the 12 jewels. And those are knowledge, wisdom, understanding, freedom, justice, equality, food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, and happiness. So a man must first get knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Once you got that, then you could go for your freedom. But freedom must operate under a law of justice. I'm free to smack you in the face, right? But now justice comes in. That's the reward or penalty for my acts or deeds. So that keeps everybody at equality. Because what? All men are created equal until you do something to break that equilibrium. Now, once you establish that, then what do a man need to strive for? His food. Of course, food for thought and physical food. His clothing. Of course, clothing, for clothing, but a cloak of righteousness as well. And his shelter. A shelter to live in and a shelter to protect itself from negative things in his atmosphere. And once you got that, what's left? Love. But what's love without peace? And what's love and peace without happiness? And happiness is total, complete satisfaction with yourself.
Muslim girls training in general civilization class that was established by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and now headed by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. These training units, how to keep house, how to rear their children, how to take care of their husbands, sew, cook, and in general, how to act at home and abroad are the foundation of a civilized society. They form the basis of every civilization. And to the degree the woman can execute and master these training units will determine the degree of civilization, the level of civilization. This is why the Honorable Minister...
Y'all keep thinking it depends, because it don't. There's a natural law. There's
People don't put thought into it, sir.
And when a man from our nation with 12 principles and a woman from our nation with 7 units meet up, they talk about it. This is how we know our family gonna be good, because I was built on something. This is what I move by. This is what she moves by. How to act at home and outside of home. If half of y'all just listen to that, it would be a much better world. Y'all don't know how to act, don't know how to be quiet when somebody's talking, don't know how to answer the host's question, always got to jump in. Let me ask something real quick. Did I ask you to? No decorum. No 101 etiquette. I don't know what y'all even talk about. I just clicked the link. Why you just don't sit down and be quiet then? Why you had to come up? No journalistic integrity. Look at the description. Nothing of what we talked about is labeled in your description. You just talking about people. Don't give them no credit. Didn't research at all. Inviting people to your channel. Did you watch any of my programs? What the fuck is wrong with y'all? And then I look at a show with young people. I was told the young people is the future. They gonna save us. These 25 and 24-year-olds. And Mandrell got to teach them what integrity is, what morals is, and he got to start from scratch. Because they don't even know where they are. They don't know what they want. They don't know what they're doing. They don't even know where they're moving. They don't know if they're moving forwards or backwards. And this is what Whitney Houston told me that was the fucking future. So we just fucked. So back to Eat a Man. Why we even trying? Why everybody not just running around doing anarchy? Because you wouldn't be able to sleep. Ask somebody that deleted somebody in your neighborhood. Ask a killer how good he sleep at night. They'll tell you. They can't. It's hard. Those souls travel with you. So, you know, y'all could keep saying it depends. Y'all could keep saying everybody's different. Y'all could keep saying it. But the Most High, he see us all. And when your day come and he say they was doing all of that shit down there on earth and you said nothing about it, he gonna TiVo your shit. What you said about that? What you did about that? Why you just let them kids do that? Oh, well, you know, okay. And that's why I'm here. We wave our flag on consciousness, on conscious parenting, on love and abundance and shame. All needed. All inside of the he said, she said hospital. If you only need triage, then you get love and abundance. Let that love out, overflow in your cup and spill into somebody else's. If you need something a little more concentrated, come to Cerebro Saturday. We'll get you a referral to a specialist. But if none of that works and you still exhibiting foolish and wrong behavior, you will get shame on Sunday, 7:00 tonight. Check out the missus for Shame Sunday. But this is what we do and what we will continue to do because knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is needed in this society. These kids lack it. They have no respect for it. If they knew what it actually was, they would drop to their knees. But you, young men, are the knowledge. You are the foundation. You are God. In your family, it all stops with you. At least I would hope so. If not, I'm coming to your house and I'm taking the big piece of chicken. Ladies, you are the wisdom. You are the manifestation. You bring forth the understanding. That's our little ones. Those are the kids. Now, y'all got to figure out and build on the rest of these. Culture freedom, power refinement, equality, God, build and destroy, born, and cipher. But this is my foundation. This is my standards. This is my integrity. And it's with the gods and the earths. We don't eat swine. We don't fuck white women. And it is what it is. I fast 2 times a year, usually in August when the sun don't go down till 9:00. So again, I could never do that. I know you can't. You can't even stop putting pork in your mouth. Pork ain't righteous. That shit ain't permitted. But you'll make an excuse to put it in your mouth and then tell me you got integrity? Tell me you gonna teach and talk to some young men about integrity when you don't even care about what you put in your mouth. So don't think I'm gonna believe what come out your mouth. My name is Mr.HeSaiD, man, and I'm here for all the smoke. Listen to my theme song. I'm about that life. How
Kindness, Jay-Z tried to kill me. Cut my name, whole weight, big pop on the street. Bank rolls full and I can helicopter police. Power up your colon in the back of Papa Capri. I'm a hog in the beast when it's time to vlog. I release like a walking dog on a leash. A frog when I log at the beach. Pause when I jog to the east. Picking up fog from Cheech. Blowing smoke with the priest. I sleep for all with the least. My nigga, you know that I'm all some steel. These other rappers pop pills like a moxicil. While I'm eating chicken fettuccine pasta meals. Cause everything I do huge like a roster kill. Ill. Trick I on Hotel Rwanda. And Sean Diddy Combs is my auntie Yolanda. I'm all about my combos and drama. Come out the llama and beat it. Hannes de Palma, Geronimo, Proud Obama. I am Madonna, Chandelier, me Walt Disney, Martin Louis, the Dream, Steve Jobs, Bobby and Whitney. Praise issue, I lie, the king, how high is he? False literatures, the history's dead pygmies. Truth is my mama and her mama had a baby. Now they in trouble cause somebody gotta pay me. Up to my chin and they rebel, that's why they calling me crazy. I got a friend who I love, I married her and that's my lady. Ma, don't be mad trying to feel me, I know your secrets. For me, I'ma laugh, do we laugh cause I can't believe this. Ain't nobody thinking about me. They been raping and pimping on my entire family. I'm about to set up as John F. Kennedy getting loose. Cause I see Tommy Chow, but we can't find shit. Yes, I still hit the bone, though it's wrong on my feet. I get ill, yet I'm strong cause inside lies the beast. I ain't sorry, ain't got a peep out on your neurology. Everybody proud of me, Satan can't find a way to swallow me. My demons follow me, Illuminati trying to bottle me. Stop trying to holler me and get the people who they want to see. They calling me the new millennium rock king. Times pop, better than Jigga. Word, my type of nigga. It's obviously safe to say I'm the pick of the litter. My abominable family trying to make me a critter. Everybody wanna rape my nerves. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers, none of you make me nervous. If you hire me, I do my job and do it perfect. I ain't tripping on none of these bitches because I'm worth it. Yeah, trip. The helicopter come with security, holding choppers, land, hop off the plane, get inside the mouth. But you block it when you speak up on my name. I just pray that you do it proper. Best lyricist in the game, probably right next to Biggie Papa. Look at you and look at me, little nigga. You what it do, I'm what it be, little nigga. Till my shoe from my knee, little nigga. I'll air out all your loved ones I see, little nigga. Nah, I ain't fucking with you till I think you get the bitches. Spending grands on bitches and $1 million on switches. Ain't shit sweet. Everybody think you like delicious. Making ends meet fight, trying to make it out the trenches. Assalamu alaikum, thank God.